Don't turn away from that dial. Your eyes are not deceiving you. This is Terri Hardin, and Ask Me Anything. Yes, indeed, it is me. Hi, everybody. How you doing? Happy Friday. Yeah, I decided to do a little something different. Start with a little sculpture that I had. That's actually the very beginnings of my hitchhiking ghost. This is the way that Ezra looked originally, and this is what happens with me. I start to sculpt and work out the designs as they go along. And as you can see, between these two, his legs changed because I decided I liked it better. And you can see little Gus in the background. And then, of course, they migrated into a much more detailed piece of art. Here they are lit, the hitchhiking ghost. If you've not seen these, they are exquisite. They are beyond amazing. If I say so myself, one of the hardest things I've ever done. So if you put your name on my list to be notified of their pre-sale, the pre-sale is now. And I'd like you to pick a pre-sale purchase, what you'd like to do when you're purchasing them. There's 3 ways that you can do that. And pick one, and then let me know which one you choose before October 31st, because I'd like to get you to prepay for the pre-sale before October 31st so that I know exactly how many of you are serious about owning these ghosts. Okay? So there's that, and I put it up here so you can take a picture and not have to go through the entire Ask Me Anything. Why? Because you know these Ask Me Anythings can go long. In fact, I had an artist today say to me, wow, 3 hours. Why? Why do you do it? Well, the real fact of the matter is we're in the middle of a pandemic, and as many of you who have been with me, I usually only go an hour. When before the pandemic, I went 1 hour because you were ready to start your Fridays. You were ready to get going. And we didn't need 3 hours. And in some cases, many of you don't need 3 hours, okay? But as long as there are people, up here, I'm going to, if you need to go, I go up to 3 hours, okay? So, that's what that is all about there. Right there. Okay. How the heck is everyone? Okay, so I'm in a good mood. And I hope everyone else is in a good mood. For one thing, it is really nice and chilly outside here in Southern California. And it was drizzling on me today. So I'm just like, oh, because this is my kind of weather. I love this kind of weather. And I walked out and it's chilly and I have to wear an undershirt and oh my goodness and yay and all that stuff. Hot tea, and my oatmeal is actually over here. I've only got it a little bit eaten because that's the way things work, right? So what can I tell you before we get started, and then we will move on. Oh, I've got some wonderful news. You probably already know it. Did you hear that Tim Burton is going to do a reboot of the Addams Family? Doesn't that sound wonderful? I think that sounds marvelous. I was really stoked when I heard that. Addams Family was one of my favorite shows when I was younger. And I got to meet a couple of the actors on there because we worked on other films together, and they would walk in and work with me, and it was wonderful. It was just absolutely joyful. Supercalifragilistic. So that's not why I love the Addams Family. I just love the Addams Family. And Tim Burton will probably put that really kind of weird twist to it because that's what he's about. So I'm really curious to see what he does with it and looking really forward to it. It's a nice ray of sunshine to hear about. So super excited about that. And yeah, so I'm trying to think if there's anything else I really wanted to share with you guys today. Let me just quickly show you again my hitchhiking ghosts. Many of you might not have seen them. I don't know. Did you get to see the ghosts? I could wait till the AMA. I'm sure that question's on there. Okay, why don't we do that? We'll just go. Before we go into the questions, let's see who's here. Okay, let's just see who about y'all, because y'all is most fun, right? The y'all is most fun. Yeah. We have Deanna. Dr. D's in the house. Yes, Dr. D is resting today. She needs to have her feet up because she's a giver and it's time to take back. Max, look at you. How are you? Now, Max, I got to tell you a little bit about Max here. He is a lot like Diane Embaum in that if he goes out to find something, he usually finds it. And he has been responsible for a lot of photos of me at Blast from the Past when Max and I were costume contest people, not cosplayers. But we also built models together. Max is an incredible model builder. And we were in a basement underneath the El Capitan Theater. Remember that, Max? And we were building models for another amusement park that was not in the US, but it was amazing. It's just, how things kind of come full circle and you get to see how your friends and colleagues rise up through the industry. And Max is one of those. But he pulls out pictures of me that are absolutely like from the 80s. Isn't that right, Max? I think you found like me as Magenta and me as Olga. And it's really been a delight to see what you come up with. And good morning again, Melissa. And Angie, welcome, welcome, welcome. Nate, there you are. That's okay, Nate. Life is a crazy time, isn't it? And Nate, you should be getting your concept art soon. I'm hoping I can get that done. I'm piling stuff on, but I really want to get that done. I do have sales tax I got to deal with. So that's due on the 31st too. And I'm just sort of, I've got my stuff. Numbers in me, I just keep, wanting it to just breathe and it's fine. You know what I mean? Hi, Michael. Nate. Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. Aren't they cool? Nate ordered some and he and his mom are going to join us in the class. And let me talk about the class a little bit. The pumpkin classes are doing great. If you are someone who wants to join my pumpkin classes, you can go to my website. Which one is my website? I'm going to pull it up for you so that you can take a picture later if you want. There it is. You go and under events, my classes are there. It explains about the classes and then you can click the button, get a ticket. They're $20 and they're $20 per household because it's going to be on Zoom and you will be getting the Zoom link soon. Okay. If you signed up for the class, you'll be getting the Zoom link soon. That's something that I'm going to get ready because of course, they're a week from today and yesterday. I'm going to stay for a while. I've got a 3-hour slot set up, but I'll probably stay a little longer. And if you're someone who just wants to watch, buy a ticket and just watch. I can't reach through the screen and uncross your arms and make you do it, but you can watch and be entertained by all of us doing our great work. And we are going to be doing some fun work. So it's a lot of fun. Keep a pumpkin next to you in case your fingers start to itch and you suddenly feel like you need to do it if you're just going to watch. Also, if you have a household or a group of family members and you all have a big screen TV, Michael, Luzzie and I have a friend named Elvita, and she has a huge big screen TV and it's outside on a patio. So she could easily have, if she wanted to do something with her family, she could cover everything up and make sure it doesn't get all gooky and they can all carve with me. It doesn't have to be per person, but per household. So go to my website, look around in there. It's building, it's in progress. So it's getting better every day. I'm really happy that it's doing better. I'm starting to look like a real girl suddenly. And I'll give you the opportunity to see that and join that if you want. And if you want tools, it has a link to the store as well. So you can get tools. I have a special DVD tool special. That's what Nate was talking about. And yeah, there you go. There you go. There you go. Yeah. So join me. It's the 29th, 30th and 31st. We're going to do it. And I've got people on all 4 days, all 3 days, count Terry, all 3 days. And I have to go get pumpkins. I was going to go yesterday, but COVID-19 really causes you some challenges. And I called the patch and they said it was way too crowded and that there was a very good chance that, it would be a little hard on my emotion. So they suggested I go early in the morning next week. So I'll go early in the morning on Tuesday because, of course, I'm here broadcasting. Or maybe I'll jump right after I do it on Monday. One of the two things I'm going to do. It's about 40 minutes out, so I've got to kind of plan, because I want to go to a farm. This is one of the most important things you want to do is find a pumpkin farm or a farmer who has pumpkins. Now, if you live in a place like Indiana, let's just use Indiana as an example. When I went out there to see my best friend, every farmer was growing pumpkins just about, and some of them were really huge. And the prices are right, and the pumpkins are beautiful because a farmer really knows how to nurture plants. This is their this is the artists of the industry are these farmers. So you get a chance to see them so you don't have to go too far for great stuff. But here in the cities, you got to really look because you don't want to find a lot that will in December or in November turn into a Christmas tree lot, because they're just dragging stuff in from who knows where they got it. No offense to them, but they just don't know their quality. They don't know what they've got. They don't know if it's quality. They don't know. And you want to be able to ask questions and stuff. So I'll be showing those videos as well for you. So you'll get to see that. So let's see who else is here. And then we'll get started with the AMA. Okay. I just want to say hi to y'all. I need that today. I want to say hi to you all. See, busy day ahead. And he's saying he's got to go because he's got to. So that's the one. And Michael says, can't stay to visit, busy day. Yeah, Michael's having a roof put on his house. This is the other thing about COVID-19. We tend to get some stuff done, don't we? Deanna says, don't apologize. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't do it often, but I do sometimes say, sorry for the catalytic converter on my mouth, but now you have that warning. Done, right? Right. So I do sometimes, Deanna, but it's got to be a cabin. Yeah, I used to be a tent girl, but not anymore. I'm too old for that. I'm too old for that tent thing. No, Bobby, no. I don't think I do have my magenta outfit, but boy, that was it. You know how a person, I learned this, when you play a person on TV, and in my case, magenta was not on TV, but magenta was in theaters, and as you know, Bobby, we sold out every night. We would only do it. We had 4 shows, a midnight show, and then they added a 2 a.m. show. So I wouldn't get in till very, very early in the morning. It's an exhausting weekend when I was a girl. And I was also doing the Renaissance Fair out here at the Paramount Ranch. It was at the Paramount Ranch. So I was playing all these different characters. It could really mess with your head. But the point is, as magenta, a lot of people wanted to date me and became very disappointed if and when I accepted that date and I came out with, my hair was out like that and not like magenta's because they all thought that wig was my hair, but I'm just really good at my cosplaying. I am really good. So that's the kind of thing is sometimes some persons when they think dating a celebrity or an actor or a theater person or whatever, it would be great, but then you got to remember that we're acting. That's really not us. Magenta's nowhere near me, but she's a great character, isn't she? Yeah, so I don't still have much of her costume, but I do have the pictures. Yes. Okay, see, yes, the weather. Finally, we're getting the fall weather. Sweater time. Do. Yeah, I'm all excited about it, as you can tell. Yes, I miss you too. How are you guys? What a cute picture, Amanda. Yeah. Oh, yes. And Ken Hall is a member of my tribe, and he also has a Patreon page of his own. But he does his lives on Saturday, and Saturdays are crazy for me. So I like to pop in whenever I can and see what he's doing. But he's a lovely guy. He's really talented. Takes cosplay to the next level. His costumes are quite impressive. And yeah, good to see you both. Good to see you both. I like this weather so much better than the heat. Yeah, you can only take so much off when it's hot. But with the cool weather, you can just pile yourself until you look like the kid from Christmas Story. So I adore this weather. I'm nuts. Yes, it's going to be so exciting, isn't it? Adam's Family, it's going to be really, really cool. Good morning, Bob Burdine and Miss Rose. Adam's Family, awesome to see a remake. Yeah, because he's just, so odd. This is what we love about Tim Burton is he's got that quirky bit. And when you are an artist, it's nice to be able to say someone's name and they go, oh, he's known for this, crazy off the wall stuff, right? And so when I think of my art, I like to say detailed miniature stuff. So that's what I kind of, I'm known for detailed miniature stuff like the Hitchhiking Ghosts. So that glow, because I'm one of these people that when it illuminates, I want it to actually illuminate. And there they are in all their glory. So yeah, really happy. Okay, who else is here? What else we got going here? Okay, well, what we'll do is we'll get back to the comments. It is now 9:38. I have been yapping for 15 minutes. Let's get to the Ask Me Anything questions, and then I will go back to the comments. And if you want to sit and stay with me, welcome. And if you have to go do something because you have a life or there's other things on your plate, I will bear no offense. I'm excited and have a great day. Be safe. Don't forget your mask. And I hope everyone has been voted. I am going to put my ballot in on Monday. And the reason I waited was because I had to sift through all of the propositions. I really wanted to know, what are they talking about, Willis? Because there it is. I really, really wanted to talk. I really wanted to know what they were talking about, because one of the things that has been a little frustrating, and I don't know why it's not illegal, is that they say one thing and it means another. And I'm beginning to see that about one of the propositions, the one that involves the drivers for Uber and Lyft. One of the things I asked was, do they want to stay independent contractors? I personally would. But the ads you're seeing are actually backed by Uber and Lyft. They have a lot of money. They've put in tons of money to put it in. So depending on how you feel about this, especially if you are an Uber or Lyft driver, if you want to be an employee, run with that proposition. And if you want to be a contractor, read it very carefully and make sure that you're voting the direction that you want to vote, because that's a squirrely one. That's all I'm going to say. That's a really squirrely proposition. It seems to mean the reverse of what it means, a little Inigo Montoya action there. So just be careful. So we're going to go through topical questions first. Beep, beep, warning, warning. And the first one is, the state finally released its guidelines earlier this week for the reopening of Disneyland, DCA, Knott's Berry Farm, Universal Studios Hollywood, and other large-scale draws, meaning, of course, amusement parks. How slowly regions, let's see. Because of how slowly regions can move from tier to tier, the guidelines indicate it's likely to be several weeks before the parks can reopen with 25% capacity. Because of his aggressive stance, which is working, Governor Newsom being unreasonable is Governor Newsom being unreasonable with restricted guidelines, especially considering how many other states are in the thick of another wave of cases, overwhelming hospitals. Will history judge Newsom in a better light? Are the state's lower infection and death rates actually helping the economic arguments made by the parks officials? The industry also is threatening legal action. Is this a good idea or not? Wow, that's a big question. Did you guys get that? Okay, so basically, Gavin Newsom is sticking to the rules, okay? He is the messenger. He is not the man controlling the reins. You may believe that he is, but he's not, okay? Well, if you believe he is and I said he's not, then we might be arguing and I'm not, okay? Just so you know. But he is the messenger, and he is saying, if you're not in the tier, that is the tier that means it's safe, you can't open. Plain and simple. So here in California, we have purple, which the city of LA is in. Then you have red, then you have orange, and you have yellow. The big amusement parks have to be in the yellow tier before it can happen. And the interesting thing about this, and I want to encourage you to go on to the actual sites that the government site, if you're in California, that Gavin has, because what he does is he shows you a map of California and it shows the counties that are in the various colors. And when I saw this, I could see why it's a bit of a challenge, because some counties are orange and some counties are red and some are purple. Lucky me, we're purple. But the problem is that there's a lot of people that just aren't doing the stuff. And most of us are, okay? Most of us are wearing the masks and we're social distancing. This is a thing I noticed by looking at this map. We're all being conscientious as best we can. But we're human beings, okay? And as human beings, you forget yourself. All right, I think I illustrated the point that I went to hug a friend of mine and he stepped back and all of a sudden I realized that I had just simply for a minute gone nuts myself, because this is not how I work. I'm not used to calling a pumpkin patch and saying how crowded is it, because I have to protect my household if I'm going to go out and go running around looking at pumpkins. I'm used to just jumping in my car, filling it up with pumpkins and coming home. I don't have that freedom anymore. I have to be very, very careful. I have to be careful what day I go to pick up my tools from my associate, because he's on a strip where there's an ice cream store and restaurant. So if I go at noon, it's really packed. It's hard to park. And if I do park, I've got to walk through people who aren't paying attention, because we don't. We just, sometimes this is not normal. So to get back to the amusement parks, this is a challenge for the amusement parks, because Gavin and his team of doctors say, no, 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 no. Science says, no, 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 not until you're in the yellow. Okay. And again, like I said, I think that the team of doctors and Governor Newsom in California just doesn't want this to happen. This saloon door. Okay. The saloon door mentality that we're open, we're closed, we're open, we're closed, we're open, we're closed, is a drag, okay? And I also think, and if you own a bar, you have to be very, very careful, because people come into a bar to drink and they're fine, but if they have too much to drink, things can start to go wrong, can't they? Mask kind of comes off and doesn't necessarily go back on. You start to lean into your buddies. Hey, buddy, how's it going? You know, it's you start to feel loose and fab, because this is why people go to bars, is to associate, get the edges off and to feel a little more lucid. But once you do, it messes with your faculties, and once it messes with your faculties, you forget yourself, and then ba-bam. Okay, so this could be a challenge. This could, in some states, they say that they shouldn't have opened their bars because they think this is why their numbers of COVID-19 are on the rise. Okay, also, you can't be coming through town without a mask. You can't be running around through town if you feel you shouldn't wear a mask. It's not about you again. You have to wear a mask. Just please do, because we want the parks to open. Okay, let me just boil it down to something so not political, which is we want Disneyland to open. So we have to do that due diligence in order for that to happen. We must do it. Work as hard as we can, and to remind our fellow Disney friends that, you know, we've got to let people know that this has to happen. The thing that's really, really, really devastating is that businesses around Disneyland that thrive because of Disneyland, we could lose them entirely because they might not be able to stay afloat. And that's really sad. That's really, really sad. And then on top of it, you got these yahoos that are doing fraud with unemployment and with the funds. You know, if only you'd use your brain for good instead of evil. So now with all this fraud, they're shutting it down. And all of you who need this, have followed the rules and done what you're supposed to do, are suffering because unemployment has locked it down while they try to catch these frauds. I mean, really? Who are these people that this is what they get excited about? Is to cheat those who are in serious need. these people who are stealing these debit cards and using them illegally. And I heard about a rapper who must have grabbed 2 million in illegal unemployment and was using it. And now he faces a long time in jail. I hope he's happy because you got caught, fool. As well you should. This is really where uncool comes from. You may feel that Gavin is being a little hard-nosed and think that's uncool, but what's uncool are these people who keep stealing from you. These people who steal, many of you are struggling out there, and these yahoos come, and now even the lifeline that you were being thrown is being cut because of these yahoos. So that really gets to me. That's really frustrating. If the parks feel like bringing charges, doing a lawsuit, legal action, that's their right. That's why we live in the United States. If they want to do that, I think, yeah, they should. I think they should understand, though, that it's a pandemic that's really keeping them from opening, not Gavin. It's just he doesn't want to create, like I said, this problem, and the scientists are telling him. He's listening to the science, and the science is saying no. And those of you out there who are nurses and first responders and frontline workers, and also scientists, are sitting there probably saying, thank God for the first time someone's listening to the scientists, because scientists don't get listened to very often, do they? And that's how bad stuff happens. Okay, so, all over the world, there are outbreaks that are happening because of choices that were maybe not the best. And that's because there's a lot of people. My husband and I both say, if we had a nickel for someone who's just about to die saying, I thought it was a hoax before they die, it's terrifying. So we have to take this seriously, guys. We all do. And it's terrible what it's doing to all of us. It's just awful. But yeah, they have the right if they want to take legal action. And one of the things that's really strange is that if they get to open, many are told that they may have to restrict to their own county. So those of you in Orange County would be the only people who could go to Disneyland, because no one else in the counties outside, counties, not states, counties, which means LA County, would not be able to go, because Orange County would be the only county that people could go. And the way they'd be able to tell is your driver's license. You're going to make reservations, and they're going to say to you, sorry, wrong county, you can't come. Yeah. And I think this is shocking more Disney people than any of this. Okay, is that if and when they do open, they may have to restrict it to the county of Orange County, which means how many people are going to use the hotels at Disneyland, which need it too, right? Or the hotels around Disneyland in Orange County. If only Orange County can come, how's that going to help the hotels around Orange County? Yeah. So, I'm an hour out in LA County, and sometimes I stay in a hotel depending on if I'm there for a long time and I want to, I don't want to drive home at night half asleep, then I'll grab a hotel room. But many won't need to. They live in Orange County going to their park, which is where? Orange County. So how has that helped them? I don't know. It's weird. It's very weird. It's very, very weird. But what date do you think Disneyland, DCA, and Knott's will reopen? Do you think there's a chance of a Christmas season? No, I don't. If we keep going the way we're going, no, I don't. I would really, really love to see a Christmas season, and then I would not go, okay? But again, if it's a Christmas season and only Orange County can go, then I can't go. So what am I saying? I'm not going, they just laugh and go, well, Terry, you can't go because you're in LA County. So door is closed to you. So it's going to be a very interesting thing. I'd love for them to open for Christmas, but to open for Christmas just for Orange County, that's not really going to help the economy much. So if I were Disneyland, I think, and Knott's. Now, Knott's has created these wonderful food events that you can do in and around Knott's Berry Farm, and that has really helped them a great deal. Universal is also struggling. That's right near my home. So if Universal Studios was restricted to Los Angeles County, woohoo, I could go if I wanted to. And that's kind of the thing that could happen, guys. So that's a little more jarring, I think, than that's a little more jarring than some of this other stuff, is that even if they open, you may not get to go. And what does that do for pass holders and Club 33 folks? If we can't go because our counties are locked out, does our pass start to tick off? And even though we're not allowed to go, we may have to pay later or pay. You see? So there's a lot of questions that go there. And I'd like to see it open before Christmas. But then again, what does that actually mean? If it's restricted to the county, we're all going to go, yay, So if I were Disneyland, I think what I would do is look to do a lot of online. Maybe you do an exclusive online where people can get buy some of the merchandise or get a peek in, maybe they can talk with their characters via Zoom. If I were Disney, I'd say, for so much money, you get to speak with your characters or interview with your characters. Many clubs are doing this. Carolwood has a great thing coming out where you get to talk to Kevin Rafferty about what he did for the park and what he does with trains and stuff with an amazing man, Michael Brogy. Just Google Carolwood Foundation. And that's a Carolwood talk. I think it happens on the 28th. So you can get a ticket and you can experience that. So a lot of Imagineers and Legends are coming on to help do the Disney experience as much as they can. And that's what I would run with. Okay. And Kevin is an amazing man. In fact, Kevin Rafferty, and one of the things Kevin Rafferty will not say on this broadcast that he will be doing, because he forgets. And this is what's cool about people who are generous, like Michael Brogy and Jr. and Kevin Rafferty and all of them. I could go on and on with the list of how many Legends are so generous, but that's okay. I won't. But Kevin Rafferty was responsible for, there's a book called Imagineering the Building of a Dream. I don't know if I have a picture of it, but I'm going to try and show you the picture of it so that, let me see if I can find it. While I look, I'll keep talking, but he did, he was part of this. Oh, I have a picture. I have a picture. Here it is. You may recognize it. This is Imagineering the Building of a Dream, and Kevin Rafferty is responsible for getting us our names in the credits of this book. For the first time in history, thank you, Kevin Rafferty, names were put in the book. Imagineers were usually not named, and this book named them. So in my case, my name is spelled wrong, but my name is in there and it's quite exciting. I'm trying to see if I can find, here it is, the picture that is in the book. You're going to love this hair. Here is the picture in the book of me creating the Dragon's Lair at Imagineering. And this is on page 80 of that Imagineering Building of a Dream book. And underneath it is my name. Even spelled wrong, it was a great effort. And so you can have these experiences very easily. Just sort of Google, Disney experiences or Disney conversations. And you're going to get to have some fun stuff. The Disney Dream Girls, which is a wonderful podcast. They just interviewed yours truly. And we talked about all things Halloween. So you can find this. And many of you out there have your own podcasts and Facebook pages that dedicate themselves to Disney. So if you're feeling that Disney loss, this is the time to get with each other and create the best you can, because honestly, there's a very good chance Disneyland is not going to be open for you to go there, or figure out a road trip to Walt Disney World, because they are open and they're doing fine right now. Understand, as I've always said, they're a bigger park. They have more space, more wiggle room, but at least you could get down there. How about a road trip down to Disney World so you can check it out if you want, thank goodness. And if you're okay to fly and we don't have cooties, meaning the US, some places will actually allow you to go see some of those other parks. But right now the doors are locked down because nobody wants to spread this virus, right? Yep. That's kind of the way it is. Any thoughts of final presidential debate last night? No. Yeah, I have a thought. Yes, I do. I'll let you know. Why was it so much better? The rule changes, the moderators, the fact that they could turn the mics off. What did I say before? What did my husband suggest? Cut the mic, right? Okay, so you let them know, because one of the things we know about each candidate is they agree to the terms before we ever see them on camera. So they agreed. If they wanted to have a debate, we were going to have this mic cut off. Yeah? And ba-bam. It's amazing when you realize you don't want to appear. Remember what I said about being a candidate or anytime on camera. You don't want to come off in a different way than you want to project. Let me say it that way. You don't want to come off on a different way that you want to project. And one of the things that really looks weird is if somebody, you insist on speaking beyond your time, they cut the mic and you're like this. That really looks kind of weird. Okay. So I think the reason it was the way it was because of that threat of, the guy was in view of both candidates. You guys ever done a comedy show? You ever done stand-up comedy? When you do stand-up comedy, I've done stand-up comedy. When you've done stand-up comedy, they put you on the stage of like a comedy club, like the Comedy Club or Laugh, what's it called? The Laugh Stop, Second City, et cetera, et cetera. They put you on stage, okay? And you do your act or your funny bit. Well, behind the audience are light bulbs. And the light bulbs are green, yellow, and red, just a lot like our current pandemic situation. Okay. So when you get to go, the green light lights, and between if you're stand up, you're allowed 5 minutes. Let's say you're allowed 5 minutes of comedy. If you're Seinfeld, you get the whole night, and maybe the light bulbs don't even work if you're Jerry Seinfeld. But if you're a new and rising comedian, which I was, you get 5 minutes on stage. So the green light goes on, and then you do your bit. Well, when you're a minute before you are going to be basically getting the hook, the yellow light goes on. Caution. Okay, you're near the end. You're near the end. Yellow, 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 right? And then finally red. So I don't know if they had that for them when they were debating, but I do know either that or somebody was maybe like this. And what you want to visually show to the audience, okay? This is coming from my entertainment field, my stand-up comedy training, stuff like that. Just to give you an idea of what it's like to be in front of the camera for both candidates. So why was it a lot more civil? Because that was there. That's my opinion. How long did you spend planning and preparing for your ballot decisions? I'm still in the process for my ballot decisions. And I'm strong on the people pretty much, but I'm really nervous about, not nervous, but really working hard to make sure I vote the proper way on the propositions. I'm down to, 3 more. I got to Proposition 22, and I think there's 25. And then I have letters. And the problem is in my city, we have certain letters, and I don't have the benefit of this. I don't have the benefit of this California podcast called Propositioned. That has been Chris Sancarlo has been a great help, and he's very unbiased. And then at the end, he and college students kind of say, in a nutshell, a yes vote means this, a no vote means this. That's what I need, is someone to say a yes vote means this, a no vote means this, and then I can vote accordingly. Because if I take the gas tax that California got slammed with a few years back, a yes vote meant we approved the gas tax. And many thought the yes vote meant we didn't want the gas tax. You see what I'm saying? And a no vote Okay, so we were confused. Another one in California would be Prop 8 about same-sex marriages. A yes vote was different. Like you would say yes meaning I want it, or yes meaning I don't want it. That's really weird, and it messes with your head. And if you've ever read these books that explain it, it can get really like your eyes start to water and you're like, okay, how the heck do I vote for what I want? You know, when a yes means no and a no means yes, and blah, blah, blah. So I'm not done yet, but Monday. And Monday I'm doing quite a bit. I'm running up to my mother's. I think I'm going to do that Tuesday, actually. I'm running up to my mom's convalescent hospital, and I've got the caregivers taking her ballot. And then I'm either they're going to take it and put it in a box for her, or I'm going to do it. Okay. I think hers is an MCT ballot, so it could probably just go in their outgoing mail. But this is again something that's not normal. Okay. We are actually practicing. We could have just, if there had been no pandemic, I could take the ballot to my mother. My mother could have marked it, put it in her little secret envelope, sealed it up, and I would have dropped it in the box or the mail. My mom has voted absentee for quite some time because she's been in the hospital for some time. But now we have to do these, we have to create this dance, if you will. The dance of getting the ballot to you, the dance of getting it from you, and the dance of putting it in the mail. Okay, because this is different. So my father, who is in his 80s, doesn't really want to be the one out to do it. So we're working it out with he's got my cousin in the bubble with my father, and then my cousin and I, my cousin delivers groceries to help me out, and it also allows him to sort of talk to me about whatever's ailing him, which is why he keeps delivering me groceries, because he's like, no, please don't stop, because it gives me a chance to chat with you. So it's okay. See, so it across the board, guys, everybody needs a little of this, you know? And so that's why we're doing it. That's why we do it. That's why we do it for a long time, because we want you to feel, we want to take a little bit off your shoulders if we can. And maybe knowing that I am struggling with these ballot issues, and you are too, you have a kindred spirit in this area. And yes, we're supposed to vote early. I get it. But I don't want to vote so early that I don't take time to study. And that's me. I needed to study, because it's not that I voted improperly for the gas tax, but so many did. And now I have to deal with this gas tax in California. That is absolutely ludicrous. I mean, it is crazy high. If it had been straightforward on the ballot, it never would have passed. And I wonder why why is it that you can't just say what it's supposed to be? So there you go. So that's my answer to, I have not yet put my ballot in. My ballot has to sync with my mother's ballot, and then both ballots will go out. Again, another dance. So there you go. Did you and Lindsay mail them in or drop them off? I answered it. Are you tracking online? You betcha. I'm going to track it online, because I've never gotten to track it online. I've never thought to track it online. That's kind of cool to find out that your ballot made it and is in there and been counted. You know, the thing that gets me a little concerned, and I'm not so sure it's going to be adhered to too strongly, is your signature has to match. Oh, mine does, because you can't read it anyway. But for my mother, she hasn't walked in 3 years, and she has a little bit of a shake. So I don't know, hopefully they'll take a look at her, because, and say, she's in her 80s, so cut her a break. But I don't know, because that's what they're saying. If the signature doesn't match, it could or could not be counted. But we'll definitely track hers online to make sure it works, so that we can get it. And the other thing I noticed is, I think, or did I read this wrong, guys, that you could actually mail it after. And as long as you mail it by a certain date, or maybe I'm wrong. But in any case, we'll do it before. We'll do it next week. And yeah, that's what we're thinking Wired magazine interview and when it might be published. Okay, Wired magazine. It turns out that the people of Wired, a very wonderful young lady, is going to make it an Instagram story. And she's going to send me the link, or she's going to, how do you say, tag me on it? And then I will share it with you. Absolutely, I will share it with you. That's part one, and it's all about pumpkins. So it's all about Halloween. So they're getting ready to drop it, I think, this weekend. So if you go and follow Wired, that's a great way to do it on Instagram. You'll see it there. What happened is they liked those pods, those 15-second pods. So Wired invited me to do a Instagram story, which I've never done. One of the reasons is because they're shorter and I wasn't sure how to do an Instagram story. I thought I just had to like turn the camera on and start talking, but I didn't really want to do that. I wanted to do kind of a Instagram story that was more upload a video. And I found out from Wired that I can do that. So I'll probably do more Instagram stories in the future. But they really should be a minute long, no more. And she didn't even give me a minute. She gave me 15 seconds. And I took on that challenge. And we did 9 modules, I believe there are. And one of the young ladies who happened to be working at Wired as well, who writes articles for the magazine, again, online, it'll be an article. They will probably attach both. So if you go to one, you'll get to see the other. And that's supposed to happen all next week. So thank you for asking. Yeah, I'm really excited. They found me on social media. So what does that mean? If you feel like doing social media, and you're not sure, they'll find you. What have I said before? If you want to be an Imagineer, share your dream, because they'll find you and probably invite you. Maybe not now during the pandemic when everybody's being let go, but when they gear up again, and they will gear up again, guys. They're the magic makers and everybody needs magic. I'm just really happy that I've got like these long, because it's cooler. Yay! Sorry. small squirrel goofy moment, but there you go. Okay. Let's see. Want to make another pitch for pumpkin sculpting classes? I did, didn't I? I tend to jump into that, don't I? So again, if you go to my website, terrihardin.com, and I will be happy to put it on here so you can find it. You go to terrihardin.com. There we are. And look under events. It's going to explain to you about my virtual pumpkin sculpting classes. And it's also going to give you a little button you link to, and it'll take you to get tickets. The tickets are $20. And as I said before, you could be a whole household, or you could be someone who just wants to look in because you don't want to carve. That's fine too. I will be sending you the Zoom link for your class, and then I will also make some suggestions to you. I was asked if should they gut the pumpkin first before coming to class. You can. You absolutely can, meaning you want to take all the guts out of it. But here's the thing. You may want to consider opening the bottom of your pumpkin as opposed to opening the top. You may have noticed many of these professional people, if you've looked at their websites, the pumpkin looks like they don't open it. And many, because they've practiced, okay? Understand that many probably didn't just start by not opening the pumpkin. But I have to be honest, I'm not sure how they started. So let me see. I'm gonna just pull up my kids here if I can. No, that's not what I wanted to show you. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is this, that if you open from the bottom, people are gonna think you opened it. You didn't open it. I'm serious. I'm absolutely serious. I know it was a little challenging getting it out of my mouth, but let me show you this example. This is my lady sculpture, and this is kind of let me say that again. This is the technique I'm going to be teaching you. So let me get terrihardin.com off there so you can see my lady, okay? So this is my lady pumpkin. She's about yay big, okay? You can actually tuck her in the refrigerator if you were to carve her early, because she's small enough that the refrigerator would keep her for a while if the weather is hot. I like to retain the pumpkin skin. I don't have a 3/4 of her, but in these, I use the tools that I used. So the tools that you do the dance, this is one of the options that you can do. But one of the things that I want you to notice is the top of the pumpkin is unopened. But when I show you her lit, okay, you'll notice that right along the bottom of this picture, there's a light underneath her. That's because I opened it from the bottom. Now, many people will come to you and say, how did you carve it without opening it? And I always say, I didn't. And I tip it back and they go, oh, and they're very surprised. So this is something, if you decide to open your pumpkin, try the bottom, try the back, try something a little differently, because it really, really works great. But I will be telling you and showing you in class, but the bottom of the pumpkin really, really works great. And here's another one. It's a little bigger, and this, I think, is actually a wolf pumpkin. This is my dragon's egg. So I thought that looked like an egg to me. So I did a dragon in kind of a little fetal position, and then here he is lit. Now, many of the sculptures that you see, like Ray Villafane, Ray doesn't put lights in his pumpkins that often. He does do sometimes, but his stuff really is about being in regular light, and it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. And occasionally he probably does like a jack-o'-lantern, because I've seen him do jack-o'-lanterns. But my point is that when I teach, I think my difference is that I'm showing you how to light them after and how cool they look. And it doesn't mean that I've cornered the market on this. It just means that, you know, this is a different way to do these. So it's a nice option. And you can do any kind of pumpkin. You can do any kind of pumpkin. You can do ones that are like seriously weird, like this one. I love this one. This is one of my favorite, which is a pumpkin with an arm coming out of it. And you just want to make sure that the joint is clean, so that, you know, people aren't looking at your skewers and stuff. And I think underneath the elbow of this one, you can see a skewer, so shame on me. But there you go, just to give you an idea of some of the wild and crazy stuff you're going to learn in my class. It's going to be great fun. It's going to be great, 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 great fun. And so I encourage you to go to the website, check it out, and see if you want. It's only $20. And you'll need a pumpkin. I'll give you what you need. You need a pumpkin. You need some tools. You're going to need a tool like this. This is my main sculpting tool. And then you're going to need some little tools like this. You can get them at a craft store. They are clay sculpting tools. These are Kemper mini ribbon tools. Okay. And I do sell a kit. So in my kit, it's here. So this is what the Kemper mini ribbon tools look like right here. There are 6. And then there they are in their package. And then some of the beginning tools. There's how many? There's 4 beginning tools. This one is a real important one. But that's my kit. You can go to the store and find it, but go to my website. It takes you and shows you all of that stuff, okay? So the classes are the 29th, the 30th, and the 31st, and they're in the morning. They're Pacific time. I'll probably go for about 3 hours. It'll be on Zoom, so if it's something that sounds like you would like to do it, or you just like to watch me do it and teach others, that's okay too. Okay? So it says here, there is room in all remaining sessions, because I've actually made, 100 people, but we aren't going to have anywhere near 100 people. I think right now we have maybe 10 per class, which is just beautiful. 10 households anyway. So, whoever's in their little window could be more, but I'd love to have you. So, and not all classes are really, really super, super full. It's going to be an intimate kind of coffee thing. And we're going to, we'll probably, maybe you're going to have a pizza and you can stop and have a little lunch and watch. Maybe we'll take a break. It's going to be this thing where it's kind of organic, so that we can kind of see what we want to do and see how we like it and move forward that way. So I hope you'll join me. It's going to be fun. I mean, I highly encourage you to bring kids, because I'm hearing that young people are feeling a little frustrated because maybe their doing school from home and they're not with their friends and stuff like that, this is a perfect opportunity to have some fun. Okay? Parents need to use the knife to open the pumpkin and help the children gut. And then after that, just keep an eye on them so they don't, get and do it in a place. I'm going to also talk about this too at the time, but do it in a place where, because you're going to fling guts everywhere and you don't want it like in your living room, getting on your couch and your sofa. Maybe you do. Your cats and dogs. Maybe you do. But it's a messy business, but it's a fun and messy business. So, yeah, usually I recommend places people can go, farms they can go to, because I'm teaching live in California or I'm flying to another state. And of course, this time I'm not live on Zoom. So I got to leave it up to you to track down where those pumpkins are and try your best to do a farm. Avoid a market, because sometimes the market ones have little threads in the pumpkins like celery. And if you grab one of those threads, they crack apart and it's awful. Now, if this does happen and your pumpkin does crack, we're going to sit with you and say, don't panic. You can either have another pumpkin and put a pumpkin in a pumpkin, creating two, and maybe that pumpkin is emerging from the broken one. Or it could be a face that's cracked in half and it reacts, So we're going to work together on whatever you want. Bring pictures if you have your heart set on something. But usually I suggest a face: happy, sad, angry, vampire, pussycat, dog, whatever. But my Disney folks, I'm going to give you full disclosure. The Disney folks like to do something from Disney. Okay, so you can have your coaches, you can have your Cinderella coaches, you can have your my friend Doug, who's been with me for some time. He did Jack and Sally on the pumpkin patch and made little pumpkins below. And his son Cameron does tikis. He does tiki characters. Cameron's been with me since age 9, and now he's in his 20s, and he does these killer tiki stuff. I was trying to think if maybe I had him here, but I don't know if I have him in one of my presentations. But if you get the DVD, you'll also see the various ages of people and the sizes of pumpkins that people do. I can't remember her name now, and I wish I did. She did one in one of my very, very first classes where it was a giant pumpkin and she put her baby inside, kind of like that artist who does flowers around babies and stuff. But anyway, she put her baby inside, and now that baby is like married. So that's how long I've been teaching these classes. So I hope you'll join us. Please do. It's going to be fun. Let's see. What's the best thing about using pumpkins as a canvas for your art? That is a really good question. The best thing about using a pumpkin is that a pumpkin has a foot in your childhood. Okay, everybody loves pumpkins. So when I'm teaching, it's a way to get you, and I'm talking to those of you who don't believe you're artists out there, to jump in and get started. And also, a pumpkin rots. So if you don't like your design, wait a few days. It will start to look really cool because it gushes into itself and it really rots. That's the other reason I like a face, okay? You can do a face that's like this. And what'll happen is the top part of the face will sink into the bottom and the lip will come up until it's like forehead and the teeth are up top. Really funny. And then there is a disease that the pumpkins have, a bacteria that is black. So if you have a face that's like, it'll start to get the stubble, The other thing I will remind you to do is to put your pumpkin in a garden after Halloween, because they do go to juice, meaning they just liquefy, and you never know when they're going to liquefy. So you don't want to leave them in your house. They can destroy your furniture and your carpet and stuff, your office or wherever you have it. So you want to make sure you put it out in your garden, because when they go to juice, all of that stuff is really good for your plants. And then you pick the pieces out and put it in your compost trash can, and all is happy. So that's usually what I suggest. Now, I also have someone out of Vegas who does the carving, and she cooks, she makes. So she'll buy a pumpkin that she likes, and then she'll sculpt it, and then another one she'll use to make pumpkin cookies, pumpkin bread, pumpkin yummy stuff. So they are really great for baking, and you can learn that from the farm, which ones are the best for baking the stuff. And you as a baker, you may know, but you'll also be surprised when I was at my farm, McGrath's Pumpkin Patch up in around Ventura County. There it is. He's retired now. His pumpkin patch is closed. His brother is still doing a pumpkin patch out there, so you can still go out there. I'm sure it's really excellent. I would just like to find something a little bit closer to me. But he knew every pumpkin. He had 45 different varieties of pumpkins. And there was a little Latina lady that made pumpkin bread. She was adorable. And she would take these, there's a pumpkin that is green and it's kind of gnarly. And it's not really a good carving pumpkin, but it's a really good, what am I trying to say here? It's kind of a steel gray blue. And it really looks like maybe it's that bread you pull apart, but it's a pumpkin. And when you cut it open, it's a bright, 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 bright red orange. And she used to come early to that patch and throw them all into her wheelbarrow and almost take all of them. And she made pumpkin bread and pumpkin macaroons. They were just delicious. And she told me all about why this particular pumpkin was so important. So that's why I'm saying go to a farm. You get to learn about all the different kind of pumpkins you can have. And that's super, super cool. Tim Burton. Yeah, we talked about that, right? Addams Family and Tim Burton. So it's going to be cool because it was one of my favorite shows. And I loved, and now you've seen some of the movies that they've done with Addams Family, and some were good and some were not so good, but always a pleasure to see acting is a thing. So I always love to see Thing, and Thing was one of my favorite characters. And then Lurch, I met Ted Cassidy a long, long time ago. And one of the things, I was working for Hanna-Barbera on my first puppet show, and I was in the elevator, and there's no mistaking him. And it was a joy to meet him and to talk to him about the character, because at that time he was shooting that. And we talked about it. It was just lovely. It was just so fun. He's he really enjoyed it, I mean, it's just it's a cool character that had so few actual lines, but it's so memorable. His and you rang. It's just awesome, But there were tons of characters that were so delightful. Every single one of them was delightful. Morticia, who cut the buds off and kept the stems of flowers that she grew, and Cleopatra, the plant that loved to hug people. It was just, and the sounds that she would make, that Cleopatra would make when she swallowed, was cool. So I'm hoping Tim will be a fan of the original TV show and then add his spices to the pot that he will be making called the Addams Family movie. I think that's going to be just fantastic. Super, super cool. Speaking of television, the new season is slowly rolling out. Is it? Sorry, I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't. So sorry. I don't have time to watch TV. I get too involved. The other day I was studying because I got invited to audition for the series Lucifer on Netflix. And I hadn't seen it since the first season. So I punched it up. This is the beauty about streaming, I got to tell you. I punched it up and I really watched it. I really studied it. And it's fifth season. It's going into the sixth season. I watched the fifth season. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. But I didn't get a lot of work done because I got wrapped up in season 5. And season 5 is beautiful. Just congratulations to, if you happen to come across a stream, and it's during this time in my AMA, and I'm gushing about Lucifer. I want you to know I'm extremely impressed with that series. There are characters on there that are so interesting. One of my favorite characters is the young lady who plays the demon. You made me cry, So if you're watching and you played the demon, you made me cry. I just wept. You really showed such heart in that character. And you're not on camera a lot, but when you are so memorable that it's worth tuning in just to see you. And here I've said it. Oh, what an amazing actress and what an amazing character that character is. And there's other characters that are amazing. It seems like when you're in a show where they're doing investigating of murders and stuff like that, that the forensic scientists or the scientists are the coolest characters. In NCIS, isn't she just the greatest thing ever? With her ponytails and her cute glasses and her sweet, she's amazing, amazing. And now we're watching, because it says here, do I have any guilty pleasures? I didn't. I tell you, I really didn't. But, and let's just make sure that this is any guilty pleasures you're looking forward to, any new series that you want to check out, any new series that you wish to check out. Swamp Thing. My husband is, I've told you before, he knows these comics and he knows these. I have to ask him and my friend Chris, DC or Marvel. This is how unknowledgeable, how I am not knowledgeable about comics. And this is DC. And apparently my husband really wanted to watch it. So we curled up last night and watched episode 3 of it. It's amazing. It's an amazing series. And it's got some great work. I'm impressed with the Swamp Thing, and I'm impressed with the actor who does the Swamp Thing. And I'm impressed at how creepy that show. They've taken it to the next level. Now, my husband says it's not a new show. It was a show that was originally on stream, and they've actually brought it over to the television, to the channel, to see it on network TV on the CW. So I guess they streamed it before, according to my husband, and so you'll get these glitches because when you stream, you're allowed to swear, and when you're on network TV, you're not. So anytime the person kind of talks and says "son of a," they're swearing. So, but it's really a really great show. It has some very interesting characters. And one of the characters I think you should look for in season 3 is a scientist they bring in, especially to deal with the challenges that they're having. And he's this actor I saw a long time ago in some sort of comedy. I can't remember it. I don't know his name, but he has a very, very odd look. It's what I call neutral. He can make a face very subtle, and he's really scary. So you start to think good or evil, really scary. And then he can smile in a certain way, and it's kind, but it's edgy. And you're uncomfortable when you watch it because you don't know what is going on. And this actor is just he has an amazing look, and the look is he just changes a certain couple of things about himself, and he's just it's impressive. It's impressive. So it's a great series, and my husband likes to watch it on Tuesday nights, but unfortunately or fortunately, he works. So because he has to work during that time, we record it and watch it later. But for some reason, there was a mess up with our recording, so we just downloaded the app of the CW app, and you can watch it on CW. Again, people are really, all across the board, are learning the importance of memberships. You have to join. Now, if you have a DirecTV or you have a Dish or whatever there's available, you can get the CW, et cetera, without paying because you're already paying. But in other cases, I know they're working on backdoors where you pay the money. But it could cost you $100 if you want to watch every single thing, which is why we get back to the DVDs. Get your DVDs while you can so you can watch it when you want to. I say if The Mandalorian comes out in a DVD, snap that puppy up because did you like that Addams Family move? Snap that up because we don't know how long it's going to be there. And I don't even know if Disney's thinking of releasing The Mandalorian, but boy, let's grab that, So absolutely is what this is why I'm collecting DVDs. and making my own library so that I can see things when I want to. For example, Miyazaki did a film called Ponyo, and I need to see it because I am doing a sculpture of my own, and I wanted to see how Miyazaki handles water, because nobody does water better than Miyazaki, and my sculpture may or may not involve some water, and I'd like to see what they do as animators to animate such beautiful water. Just an example, but then now I have to do is grab the DVD off my shelf, pop it in, and explore water, right? So that's what I'm saying. Yep, because not all the time is it going to be available. I know. Let's see. No. Last week, about 70 of my ghosts were reserved. It's an addition of 100. So let's go. You're asking, what did she read here? Read out loud, Terri. So it says last week you said 70. Oh, it did say 70 of the 100 hitchhiking ghosts have been reserved. Any change in the numbers? Are most people paying for them in a single shot? Yes. Okay, so if you reserved hitchhiking ghosts, I want you to pick a way you want to pay and activate your pre-sale reservation by paying before the end of the month. Why? Because then I know how many ghosts I actually have to create. So these are the 3 levels. As mentioned in this question, most people are paying in full. Here's why. That's actually a huge deal. And it was because they really should cost $1,500, full disclosure. The team I have R&Ding and manufacturing these for me from my work and putting the electronics in, and I'm overseeing it, blah, blah, blah. They're a little more expensive than anticipated when I gave my first ballpark numbers. And so rather than tell everybody who had reserved a ghost, they were jumping from around $800, $800 to $1,500. I didn't want to do that. Okay, seriously, I didn't want to do that. So what I did was I gave you a discount if you pay in full. $999 happy haunts, $999, and it's yours. It will be plus tax and it will be plus shipping. If for some reason you live in California and you got some squirrely tax, like it was like 90 cents or something, you will be getting an invoice from me as soon as I figure out what tax you should have been paying, because there's one thing we can't mess with, and that's paying the state of California. So there's that. But then there's the 3-month plan, which makes the ghosts a little more expensive, but also gets a little closer to my goal. And this is the second most popular payment plan right now. And then the 6-month plan is another one. And I think I have maybe 1 or 2 people on that. But that is because of the time it's going to take me to monitor it, to look over it and see it. And so I did this, but I wanted to do this for you because I know how many of you really want these ghosts that reserve them. And now that you've seen them, how absolutely gorgeous they are, I think that, you're thinking about it. So let me show you absolutely what you can expect and actually how gorgeous they actually are. Okay. Here we go. Okay. So I'm just going to go through this rather quickly. Yeah, here we go. When you first open your custom box that I've created, these are what the ghosts look like when you open the box. You can see faintly at their feet, there's a little stand in them, and that's their little platform. When they turn their lights on, you will notice that now they're in your normal household light with the lights on. And then in the dark, this is the way they look. You'll notice that there's not a light bulb. It's not a light bulb effect. There's no ghost so bright you can barely see the features. I wanted to make them little specters. I wanted to make ghosts. And when a ghost illuminates, some areas are darker and some areas are brighter and some areas are are hidden and some are not. It's like a specter. It's like this kind of a feel, right? So that's what I did. And here is our light source. This is kind of how they work. I know that's a bit confusing, but imagine you are a collector, which you are, and now you'll notice they separate. They do not stay together. So you can put them anywhere your little heart desires. In this case, you will notice they're inside a case. This is my collector's case, my display case, actually. Most of it that you're looking at there in the dark is my art. But you'll see how they have their lights on, and I have my light inside the cabinet. That's the reflection you're seeing on the base. And then you'll notice that if you look really hard, you can almost see through the ghosts in my collection in the back. Why? Because they're specters, and that's the idea. They illuminate. Okay, aren't they fun? And then finally, what I did was I did this, which was to show you, here's my shelf, my collector shelf cabinet without the lights on. And now you see they really do separate. And I don't know if my iPad's going to allow me to do this because sometimes it gets cranky with me. And then also there's the Facebook, which sort of redoes the video so that it can broadcast. So if the images you're seeing here of Gus are a little soft, that's Facebook, not Gus. Okay. So there is Gus, and you see how beautiful his face is while glowing. Now he's not that bright like you're seeing there. That is the phone and the Facebook going to the light, right? But they're absolutely beautiful, as you can see in the cabinet. And then if we jump back, you get this amazing, where is it? I'm looking for it right now. There it is. The amazing certificate of authenticity in the box. This is hand drawn, hand illustrated by me. One of the best drawings I've done in a long time. And this is it. You get it. Usually if you've collected me before, it's a photo on a white card. This is a parchment paper, and it's really cool. It has a raven. I'm really proud of my raven and the ghostly characters. This comes in your box. Remember, I'm all about the experience. And so you are going to have an experience when the box comes to you, when you open the box, you see the certificate, you see the ghost, etc., etc., etc. So it really is going to be a beautiful, beautiful display. And since you're asking about them, I thought maybe I'd take the time to show them to you. And then also, if we cut to this camera where you see I've got the pad here, and there's some nice clay here, and my cup in the foreground. Yay, Tigger, etc. But what I'm going to do, and there's Groot. Did I mention that Groot got sold? I sold him as a one of a kind, and I got to deliver him on Saturday. So it's going to be cool. But let me grab a couple of ghosts here so that you can see them. Just in case you missed my first video, I might as well show you them on the AMA so that you can see them too. Okay. We cut to camera 2. There they are above. So you can see here from above, guys, that they are these little stands. The reason we did the little stands like this square, I originally thought I was going to do them in a circle, but I changed my mind when my associate, we collaborate. So it's not about do this the way I want, except for illumination. But you can set them like this, you can change how they work because you have the modules. And then of course they can be by themselves. Why? This is what you asked for. You asked for this, you got it, right? Okay. So if we take these two, we're going to let Ezra stand to the side. I'll show you on the back of, and here's the height. See how their heights are? See my hands and see their heights? So they are proportionate to each other. See? Aren't they cool? They're so cool. They're so cool. And if you put your hands behind, see, they're just awesome. Anyway, okay, focus. Here is Gus, little Gus, and you can see if I turn a light on with the light off, you can start to see he has some great features. His features are just really beautiful. He has a really cool little stance, his little nightgown, and his chain is really exquisite too. You see that there? It's really nice, super nice. And we give him a rest. He gets to have the little ball on the bottom. And then Professor Phineas, again, if I move my finger behind, isn't it cool that you see the leg behind the bag? I mean, because he's a ghost, guys. It's really neat. So why did these take so long to create over 2 years? And if you watched my first video, you know that it's because of the battery. I didn't want you to have to run around town looking for a odd size lithium battery or looking for those little circular nickel batteries that they say are so easy to find, but I can never find them. So instead, what we did, and Professor Phineas will help me out here, is that I did AAA batteries. So now you can go anywhere and find these AAA batteries. Okay. And also, this is an art proof. So you'll notice it's a little bit dinged up. That's because as an artist, we're dinging up the art proofs, not yours. Okay. So, but the AAAs, you'll be able to insert them and put them in and put them out safely. And you don't have to worry about messing their inner workings. And it's really, they're just really super neat. And then you'll see that on the bottom, there's a disc. Now you may not be able to read this very well, but even on the disc, it has the word lock and it has the word open so that it's easy for you to know which way. You don't want to be worried. Make sure that you protect your ghost when you're changing the battery. You know, he's not going to pop off or fall off, but you guys, I know many of you guys get out there and you get a little bit nervous. So that's the way that they work. And then on the back, we have a bright yellow button. This is so in the dark, you can turn him on. Okay, but see the difference? Isn't that fun? He's just so beautiful. Look at that face. Ba-bam, Terri says. Ba-bam. Yeah. So yeah, I'm very proud of these. And there's only going to be 100 sets. And yes, they are more expensive than I usually do. But honestly, look at that guy. He's always so cool. Anyway, they are a little more pricey than under normal circumstances. They are my supercalifragilisticexpialidocious sculpture. And the next question, and maybe you didn't even ask it on the Ask Me Anything, is this the way my sculptures are going to go for the rest of my future sculptures? And the answer is no. Okay? We're not going to hit you with a $999 thing every single time you turn around. Okay? We're gonna what can I say? We're gonna shuffle the cards a little bit. Okay? Trying to see there it is. Okay. We're going to shuffle the cards a little bit. So these are the prices for the ghosts again. You can go right to my store and pay in full if you've reserved one, or you can reach out to me and I will send you an invoice for the 3 of the 6 month plan. I have to do that special because you are special. And that's the best way to do that for you guys. So I hope there's a option for you in there, because I wanted to create options for the first time because I know how much you guys love the ghosts, and these are really going to dazzle on your shelf. And just like I said with Tim Burton, you're going to look at those and go, those are Terri Hardin's. So that's what I always strive for, is you this is what she does. She pushes the envelope. She creates these unusual and fun sculptures. This is one of the most challenging that I've done, and I think it's just spectacular. So to answer your question, the next one will be the Cheshire Cat, but the Cheshire Cat will be a lot like Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, where it's a sculpture and it will very most likely be about $200. Okay. That's about the average for mine now. And the reason I can say he's probably going to be around a couple $100 is because to paint the stripes, my painters are going to go insane. Also, it will probably be limited to 50 pieces. It won't be 100. I did 100 because the ghosts are so very popular, but usually my runs are 50. So if you're wanting the cat, start thinking about that, now. But this is not going to happen until next year. Cat's coming out next year. Okay, so don't panic. That's next year's opening sculpture. Thank you, Josie Katz. And then after that will be Figment, because apparently Figment has got a raw deal. So we're going to do Figment, the little dragon. They're actually redoing his look, and I'm pretending that I didn't see that. La, 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 la. I'm pretending that I didn't see Figment's little look. So we're going to do the Figment the way Figment should be from Epcot. I don't know why they want to change him, because he's awful cute, but a lot of people say he doesn't really have any grounding, meaning he doesn't have a movie, he doesn't have a cartoon, but he does have a theme park. He is the representation of Epcot, is he not? So why does that not rate? So we're gonna pay a little homage to Figment. And all of you who love Figment, if you want to chime in, we can gather and talk about what you love about Figment, because that's only going to make my piece a lot better. And but that's the second one. And then either I'll find out what we do for the third, and if we do one for the third one, I'm not sure what the third one's going to be. I watched Lilo and Stitch, and I really want to do a Lilo, but I don't know if Lilo's strong enough to be presented without Stitch, but I love her. I love her very much. And every time I watch her, I say, boy, I'd really like to do my version of Lilo, because I just love that little girl. But we'll see. If not Lilo, it will be another character. And then the fourth character, which will probably not hit till 2022, wait for it, guys, is going to be the child. And the child, yes, I know I said, why do it? Because the child has been done so beautifully. But I've got some magic up my sleeve, which you can't see right now. But it is going to be another Hitchhiking Ghost supercalifragilistic piece. And when I know I can do it, I will start to share with you what it is. But you're going to want it. You're going to want it, because it's going to be amazing. So I've decided that every 3 to 4 pieces that I do, the fourth or the third piece will be a supercalifragilistic piece, like my ghosts here, like my little happy haunters here. Okay, these guys are just wonderful, and I'm so proud of them. And if I lean him over here, he's in the darkness, and then you turn him on, and see here he looks like a flashlight, right? But that's just because of the nature of the video being brought down to 720p, my husband says. But he really is gorgeous. You see, if I zoom him into you, he's wonderful, isn't he? Okay, there we go. Okay, stop playing. Anyway, I love them. I think they're amazing. They just are so amazing. And my team that did the ghosts for me, that did the research, that helped with the electronics, or the electrical. Let me say electrical. I don't know that there's electronics, but anyway, the electrical inside also preserved for me the clays, so I can show you. Usually the clay is gone after you sculpt something. The clay dies. So, but we're gonna let you see Ezra, because I think he's one of the more magnificent. But here he is, and they actually put him in a little globe for me. So I have all 3 of these ghosts in this clay form. And so if I remove this beautiful lid, speak Terri, here, so I can show you. I usually have camera 4 so you can get a good view, but today my iPad's attached to it. But here is the clay. So if I hold it closer to you, actually I probably could turn the light on. It's a little bright, but at least you can see. But you can see that here's the clay that I did. These are usually lost. They disappear. They go away. And I got really lucky, because they were able to do the casting of him and preserve him. And there they are right there together. So you've got the spooky final, and you've got my actual one that I put my tools to, right? See, they're kind of doing their little dance to show you how cool they are. Ha ha ha! Everything is a puppet with me. Have you noticed that? Oh my goodness. Anyway, so I'm really proud that these two were available, because to have these clays is a real joy and a bonus. It's definitely a bonus. And then what they did was they protected him with these globes, which is what you need to. Because although the clay is a Chivant and hardens, it is still vulnerable. You can still damage him. So this protects him, and it's very nice. You could even do that with this guy if you wanted to, but then you wouldn't get that ghostly glow. So I would put him in your display cases, tuck them around things that are important to you, and let them show it off. Yeah, let them show it off, because you got this opportunity. Most people, there we go. Most people put them together because they need to put the electronics and the mechanisms in somewhere. So that's why the platforms on these ghosts are usually all three together. That's more space for them to put what they need in there. And then if they need to put a battery in, so we just squished everything down so that you could do these things individual. And that's why they're like this. So you also want to have a big enough base so that you don't, accidentally knock them over or whatever. They got to have a good, so. And the depth is because of the electrical and then the batteries below. So all of it is thinking. All of it is a thought process. So before you say no, check your budget if you've reserved one. And there are about, when everybody agrees, and some people have agreed and some people haven't. So for example, I had two people that are wonderful people who had reserved ghost set number 99. But during the pandemic, they were home together. They're a lovely couple, and they both realized how important they were to each other. Maybe they realized at the time they were important to each other, but this reinforced it. And they're saving to buy a house. So they had to part with the ghosts very reluctantly because they wanted to buy a house instead. And sometimes those are kind of the decisions that you need to make. And I completely understand. No one who's reserved a ghost is handcuffed. You can tell me no and no thank you, and off it goes. So the number then becomes available to others. But most of the people, number 13, number, what is it, Michael? 69 the year that one's, so that got bought, like 13 got bought. 99, the minute it came up and I said it was available, it got bought. So these numbers that are very popular in the hitchhiking ghost realm, 33 got bought. So you got to think of a number that's more something that's meaningful to you. At this point, I think my lowest number, if you haven't ordered a ghost and you'd like to, and again, while I do check my thing, you can look at the prices really quick again, but I'm just checking my paperwork. Forgive me, I'm like, what do I do with my paperwork? Oh, here it is. It was hiding. Little sneaker. Hey, stop that. What are you guys doing? Oh, everything is so cranky. Okay, so here's my little sheet that has everybody's name on it. And my lowest number right now, actually, I do have a couple low numbers. My lowest number right now is 41. So when I tell you I have 30, but they're all over the place, I'm going to make 100. So I know I am. It's just how I'm, we need to know how many are actually committed to. We got several people here that haven't, but but 41 is available. So what you want to do is you want to reach out to me if you want a set, and you say I want a set, and then I send to you all the numbers that are available, and then you pick one. And be careful, because you'll pick one, and great minds think alike, and all of a sudden two people will come to me and pick the same number. And that happens if it's a popular number, but it can also happen if it's a significant number to you. So what I'm saying is it happens. So I hope my number 5 is in there. And then also, if you're someone who is a major collector of my art, you can actually say, hey, I would like to always have number X. So in the case of 33, number 33, Diane Embaum, she asked if she could have that number. It was Diana Waller's. And then, of course, we lost Diana Waller. And so she wrote, and she said to me, she wanted 33, and someone else had already grabbed it really fast. And so I said, but if, Diane, you've been with me a long time. If you want that number in the future, just let me know. And so she did. So that will be Diane Embaum. And it's kind of neat that they're both named Diane. I thought that was kind of cool too. So 33 is her number now. And I have several people who have a number that's significant to them, that they want the right to first refusal. Doesn't mean you have to buy every number, but you get the right to first refusal. So if you're someone who wants that, it's very important. Let me tell you that number 12, okay, is two very dear friends love number 12. One, it's a birthday, and the other, it's an anniversary or something, I think. They're constantly like this over number 12. So they love each other. So they go, do you want it? Yeah, I want it. Well, I really want it. Well, I don't know. So now this girl gave it up. And now if this girl says she doesn't want it, this girl will take it back. Okay. So that's kind of how it works. The number system. I know I went a little bit into this, but I wanted to go into this because the hitchhiking ghosts are amazing and they are unique. They will be the Cadillac on your shelf. You saw their sizes. So Ezra is a little taller than most of my ghosts. I'll put him over here so you can see him in front of my mermaid tail. He is a little taller than most of my ghosts usually in my impressions line, but this time he needed to be, okay? Because this has become my supercalifragilisticexpialidocious line. And that means all bets are off. I sculpt what I sculpt and then present it to you, okay? But they are fun. They are still tiny compared to most of the ones that you guys get, except for maybe the Hallmark ornament. I haven't seen the Hallmark ornament that you guys just bought, but I don't know how big. So they might be close to that in size, but I haven't seen it and I haven't bought it. So there you go. So what else can I tell you about the ghosts? Oh, I'll be shipping them in December. So if you want them in December, you need to let me know, because some people are fine with waiting. And I don't mean you have to wait. It's just those of you who are planning it for a Christmas gift or a Christmas gift to yourself, whatever, you just need them so you can, kind of sit and watch TV and do this all day, because it gives you joy. I really don't care your reason. I'm just saying, if you need it, if you want it in December, just let me know. Okay. And I'm going to get those out first. We're running them all, but there is a cleanup process. There is a assembly process, all of this. So the numbers pertain to how they come off the production line, all done by hand. So it's not like we go up to Walmart and we buy the part. No, we'll get the batteries. And that's another thing. Your batteries will be a high-end battery. They won't be, some weird battery named Ralph or something. Ralph AAA batteries or something. They're going to be Duracell, because that's important to me. So again, this is very close to the bone, appropriately enough, for me, because when you buy the whole set, my profit margin is, but there's the other two payment plans. So I'll be fine. I did not do it to where, I'm giving them away for free. After all much work I did, I can't. but you all meant a lot to me. And I didn't want to say $1,500 because I knew it would knock, especially during COVID-19, it would knock a lot of you out of the running. And I know how much it means to you to have these. So I even gave a discount because there are people out there that want more than one. I have about 2 or 3 people who want 2. And I actually discounted that if you buy 2 as well. Simply because, and I really probably shouldn't have, but I did. Just did. And this is because if it's something that you really want, I really am hoping you can get it. Okay. So you decide and then you let me know. Okay. And please do it before the 31st. And that way I can keep my tab straight. So that's the Hitchhiking Ghosts. I hope you're excited. I am. I can barely breathe. I'm so excited about the Hitchhiking Ghosts. They've, anyone who's been with me for those 2 years, where they kept going, ghost, please, ghost, please, ghost, please. It became a dance. Ghosts, not yet. Ghosts, not yet. Ghosts, not yet. So now you can say ghosts. Yes. Buy now. Grab them while they're hot, because they will sell out. They will. They will. I think they would have sold out if I had personal appearances. But because I don't have a lot of personal appearances, you can't hold and touch them like usually you can with my stuff. That I have to do extra work to make sure I get to people, because some of them don't necessarily check their email. Some don't necessarily join me on Facebook Live. I have to go through each and every person and make sure you're getting some sort of notification. And then I sometimes don't write your last name. So if you don't hear from me and you've reserved a ghost and you want it, please message me or get a hold of me so I don't mistakenly think you're somebody else. Because a lot of people, I wrote their first name and then realized, what the heck did I just do? I wrote your first name. So yeah, I know. I'll just blame it on COVID. And yes, most people are paying. I think I said the single shot is the payment that they do. And then the next one is the 3-month plan that they do. It just makes life a little easier on people, a little less painful. So that's what I did it. Now we're going to go kind of a left field kind of a thing. We're going to talk about a couple of guys named the Kyoto brothers. They were really dear friends. Well, how can I tell you about the Kyoto brothers? Years ago, when I must have been all of 16, 17. Woo, that was a long time ago. 16, 17 years old, I met my mentor, Pat Breimer, who I lost earlier this year. Hard for me, devastating for me, rough for me. And I have pictures of him all over my house still because I love him. And he's the one who helped me be a better puppeteer and a great guy. But we ended up getting together and we were told we're going to do a show called It's Popple Time. Do you guys remember the Popples? What the heck is a Popple? Not popover, Popple. Okay, which were little toys that were a backpack. And then when you took the backpack off, you opened them up and they were a little stuffed animal called Popples. And we did a TV show around Popple Time, and it was run by the Kyoto brothers. You thought I might not get to the point, eh? The Kyoto brothers, when I first heard they were the Kyoto brothers, I thought they were Japanese. And I was surprised to see that many of them are from Brooklyn, New York. And they're a really great set of guys, all brothers. And the Kyotos are they're great guys. They're very talented. If you've seen Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the Kyoto brothers, it's all their fault. That is one of the pieces that is all their fault. I met them on It's Popple Time. And we did this little show about these little backpacks that came to life as little characters as a puppeteer. And we did that. And that's how I was first introduced to the Kyoto brothers. Later on, the Kyoto brothers and I ended up doing, and not just me, a group of people. We've built dragons with and for the Kyoto brothers, giant dragons, which are always a pleasure. We did Team America, which is a movie you're not going to be showing your children. There's a lot of swearing and there's a lot of weird stuff in it. But it's done by the guys who do South Park. So that's enough said. If you know South Park, you know what Team America is about. It was a great opportunity. I loved working on Team America. Those two guys were a little interesting, but I loved working on Team America. I just had such a good time on that. Rod puppets, marionettes. I don't think we had any hand puppets on that. The sets were just phenomenal. It was a fantastic, intricate movie. Again, Kyoto Brothers. They built a lot of the puppets. Then Kyoto Brothers and I, well, actually before Team America, we did a commercial for Cup of Noodles. And we went and did Cup of Noodles. The Kyoto Brothers did the stop motion work for that commercial, and we did the puppets. They were a caveman, a cave wife, and their little child. And there was a person in the suit while I was doing the face of these little cavemen characters, and they were quite adorable. I think you can find them on YouTube, Cup of Noodles. They might even be in a playlist that I have on my YouTube. And oh my goodness, please go over to my YouTube channel. Terry's going to try and find it now. Please go over to my YouTube channel. And yes, is that it? No. There it is. No. I'm so funny. You know, if I can do this, guys, you can do this, right? Okay. Please go to my YouTube channel, subscribe, and hit the little bell, because I hear it's important to do that. So I'd really, really appreciate your support. It doesn't cost you anything. It'd really be nice if you do this for me. I'm getting better and better with posting up my content, but bear with me. I'm 63. I'm not using it as an excuse, but this is not the way I was raised. So every day is a training for me. You can see I'm getting better. If those of you have seen my early broadcasts here on Facebook, I am getting better, and I am simultaneously broadcasting on YouTube. So I would really appreciate it if you would do that. That would be so, so kind of you to do that. Thank you very much. And finally, I see here, let's see. What else did and we did, I think we did some Monkey Bone together with them. Kyoto Brothers. I did a film called Monkey Bone, which is really amazing. You know Dave Jones? He does Guillermo del Toro films. He's an amazing actor. He's very skinny, not skinny, but thin and wiry. And he did all the characters in Pan's Labyrinth. He played Alfuano, which I love, and several other characters. And Guillermo loves him, and it's because he's a brilliant performer, movement performer, you know, that, but he also, like many performers of that nature, want to have their face on camera, and he actually got that too. So anyway, I got to meet him and work with him. And on Monkey Bone, he played a Yeti, and I played Betty Bovine. And Betty was a sort of a pig cow kind of thing, and she'd say "tree balls for Medulla." So the movie Monkey Bone is a little bit challenging to watch, because we thought it was all going to take place in the Coma Town, which is where the person, Brendan Fraser, he gets in a coma and he goes to Coma Town. And a lot of what happened after the movie was shot was we spent a lot of time outside of Brendan and not inside Coma Town, and they should have stayed in Coma Town, honestly. But if you're curious about the movie, don't spend a lot on it when you rent it, and check it out. I do have some cool props from that movie. I have, yeah, hold on. I have this DVD right here. This is a Bad Dream video. So this is a DVD that was in the movie. And this is one of the things that they gave us when we left. And so I have this. There's nothing inside. This actually used to hold, oh, there's something. This used to hold a, well, if you don't know what these used to hold, let me say it that way. They held VHS. And if you don't know what VHS is, ask your mom. But that would be where the tape goes. But you didn't need to do it because it's a prop. And then here is my Monkey Bone sheets. So that's what's in there. Is inside here are my actual call sheets from Monkey Bone to, I don't know, prove that I did it. And then all of the cast right here. And my name should be on here somewhere. But anyway, so here I am, and it says puppeteer. Oh yeah, here I am, Terri Hardin. Spelled wrong again, but there I am right there. So there, those 2 sheets are in there. This is kind of what you do to prove that you actually are telling the truth. But there's the bad dream video that you get to see. And then I was also given this, which is really cool. This is one of the lights as Brendan Fraser rides down a really weird roller coaster into Coma Town. This is one of the lights that they made, and I could fire it up, but I kept it like that. So that's another cool prop from the movie. Aren't they fun? I really like this video. I think that's just one of those super cool things. And I know I have one more thing, which is the weirdo track that it was the track that the little car went on, that the little lights were attached and going into Coma Town. But I don't know. I'm not sure where I put that track. Let me say that towards the microphone. I'm not sure. Sorry, guys, where I put that track. But if I find it, I'll show you the track too. It's really cool. So I have a piece of the track, and then I have this wonderful video with my these are called call sheets. Tells you what time you need to appear on the set. Got 2 of those in there. In red, it says push 1 hour, meaning that we went late. So there you go. Sometimes if you want to see some of that stuff, scripts that I have, like from Country Bears, from Monkey Bone, I have a script that was signed by Dolly Parton, and a script signed by Ray Bradbury, because I did a voice for him at one point. And I met him and we talked, and it was great. But these little props are just kind of fun to have. It's nice that they give them to you so you can remember the movie you did, even if the movie turns out to not maybe be that great, but it's kind of cool to have that there. So there you go. And I didn't get anything from Team America. I wanted to get one of those little Chinese, one of the scenes in Team America is they're making fun of the Chinese dictator. And all of the city is made out of takeout food, and I wanted one of the takeout things. But my timing wasn't good. But I just thought those were brilliant. And they were done by my friend Joe Viscoso, who's no longer with us, but he did Independence Day. He's the one that sets fire to stuff. But anyway, but he's a pyrotechnician, so he's allowed. Okay, so don't panic. And then you want to know about John Horney? I'm going to circle that because my John Horney stuff is inside. I don't believe it's here. I could check. Well, I'll tell you what. What time is it? It's 11:14. We've got quite a few of you here. If you'll bear with me, what I'll do is I will show you. You can look at the beautiful ghosts again, contemplate whether or not you want them, and let me see if I have some John Horney stuff in my studio. No guarantees, but take a look at the ghosts and let me see. I should be playing music. Nah, guys, I'm afraid not. I'm just not 100% dyed in the wool good at always remembering what to do. But think deep in your head and deep in your heart that the suspense will be more, and I'll circle that question and say John Horney next AMA. And I'll show you some stuff. Those of you who have seen me broadcast from inside my home and there's a pirate picture over my head, that is a John Horney. So those of you who remember that beautiful pirate picture, you may or may not, that's what that's all about. So outside of a cheap joke, outside of if I can only read, right? Outside of cheap jolt, chalk Halloween icons. What do you think of clowns, rats, bats, spiders, witches, aliens, snakes? Boy, somebody had a real good ability to write these questions. Most of them are from Leo. Thank you, Leo, for your questions and for your hard work and for getting them to me in a timely fashion. You get them to me first thing in the morning. You must be up at like 6 o'clock, and I want to thank you for that. I just really do. Anytime you get tired, Leo, you let me know. Just let me know a day ahead, and I have questions of my own that I can do. They won't be current events, but they're weird and funny and strange. Okay, what scares you? It's great that you asked me this question now, because so yesterday I was on a call. I was very intently in my studio, which is not attached to my house, and it was dark outside, and I lock my door. Okay, and all of a sudden there was like noise or this kind of sound outside my door, and I was like, who the heck could be out there? Nobody, it's dark and what's going on? So I said, who's there? And my husband says, it's me. Well, he had come home. He had finished work early. So he finished work early. He works inside the house. Okay. He's at home, but he had finished work early. So there was, and I get focused on what I am doing. So for example, I am testing a new clay. So I made this little face. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it, but I made this itsy little face. Have to talk in a small voice when you do this. Itsy little face. So I was experimenting with nose, eyelid, mouth on it. It looks like a bead, doesn't it? And I was really focused on it when my husband opened the door and I about jumped a mile. And then I was in the house cooking chicken and he came around the corner and I jumped a mile again. So when you are in and it wasn't his fault. It was just that I was really focused on something else, and I just jumped a mile. And so and what you try to do, because if a person is concentrating, I'm sure you've been through this before. If you've been concentrating or a person has been concentrating, you try to come in and say, excuse me, very gently, because they could jump because they're like zeroed in on whatever they're doing. So that makes me jump. I was for the longest time terrified of spiders. Absolutely terrified of spiders. And I was trying to think if I had my reel on here, but I don't think I do. I'll have to show you that. But I did a speak, Ubu, speak. I did a soap opera. There we go. I knew it was in there somewhere. I just had to wait for it to come to the surface. I did a soap opera, Days of Our Lives, in which giant spiders had to crawl all over the face of the little boy. The video that I have is pretty cruddy, but it still shows the spiders pretty well. And I'm looking for the thing to see if maybe I have it. I don't know if I do, because you just never know. Let's see. I'm looking. Yeah, I don't have that yet, but I'll work on it. I do have kind of a cool, I do have a crazy time lapse here that I can show you really quick. If it's not, oh, this one's kind of long. I'd much rather show you a time lapse that doesn't take forever. Okay, no, whatever. I'll show you that. I'll do it at another time. Yeah, they're kind of long. They're kind of long. I don't want you guys to have to sit through, and they don't have any noise, but I'll eventually show you. But anyway, so to get back to these spiders, creepy crawlies. Okay. Rats, I used to own them. Okay. So they were pets. If they're a pet, I'm cool with it being a rat pet. If the rat is coming in from the roof or the outside or something, I don't know if they have diseases and stuff. So I get nervous about a rat coming in from nature. If I come across a rat in nature, I'm going to be a lot more concerned about it than if it's my pet rat. And I loved my pet rat. They are really amazing creatures. And if they ever get a clue, we'll have Willard on our hands. So watch out. Be good to your rat things. So bats is the next question. How does Terri feel about bats? I love bats. I adore bats. I have a fully articulated bat skeleton over here on my wall. And next time, if you remind me, I'll show it to you. I can't pull it down because it's there permanently to make it safe. Keep it safe. But I love bats. I used to spend a lot of time creating, sketching and illustrating the fruit bat because it looks like a little fox. And I just love the way that they are. I just love them. Oh my God. They are such amazing little creatures that, and they're big. Like a fruit bat has a 4-foot wingspan. That is an amazing bat. It's like a giant bat stuffed animal. You know, why don't they do giant bat stuffed animals? Ooh, I should do that. A giant fruit bat stuffed animal that could hug you. Oh, I love bats. Anyway, I love those bats. The little kind of vampire bat type. I was shooting a show, a college theater show, and it was at Pierce College, which is, I'm not exactly sure what city. It's probably Topanga, maybe. But anyway, at night, the bats would come out. And any of the theater gals, they just, bats! But I just love them. I think they're amazing. And I'm a person who hates the mosquito. So I love bats because bats love mosquitoes. They eat them up like candy. And I love them. So anytime I wanted to have a bat house, but the challenge with a bat house is you got to be ready for the guano. So bat poop. So if you have a bat house, you got to kind of be prepared for that. But if you could have bats and let them come and fly and eat the bugs, man, score. Better than those candles, I'll tell you what, right? So that's fun. That's interesting. That's cool. Spiders. That's a good one. Like I started to say, I did this show where they had bird-eating spiders. Spiders are not my thing. Okay. Although I love to look at them, I'm not a fan of, I tell you what it is about spiders. I used to be terrified of spiders, really terrified. And then I own a home now. You know, I ended up owning my own home. And I lived alone in my own home. And when a spider would come along, I would have to do something about it. And so, because I didn't have, I couldn't go, Dad, get the spider. Honey, get the spider. Because it was Terri who had to get the spider. So I usually get something the size of a gallon jug and put it over the spider. And then I put a paper in between and tap it, and the spider falls down in the bottom, and then I take them outside, is what I try and do is most of the time. But I have an agreement with spiders, and that is if they are on my body, they could die, because I do not like spiders crawling on me. I had a best friend when I was a little girl, and we were taking clothes out to give to charity, and she removed the clothes off her back, and no lie, there was a spider this big on her shoulder, and we just lost it. We pushed it off. It was huge. And I guess as little girls, it might have been even bigger than it really was, but we really didn't like it. I also am not real good with the wolf spider, the jumping spiders. No. Really not a fan of those. And anything poisonous, of course. But I had a friend who raised black widow spiders. Yeah, seriously. So one man's fear is another man's passion, and it was their passion. They loved black widows. They had 35 black widows variously in jars in their house. And I kept saying, what happens if you have an earthquake? And he kept saying they don't leave their territory. But what if the jar breaks? Anyway, Not an image I wanted in my house. As you wake up in the middle of the night after an earthquake and you know you've got 35 black widow spiders crawling around the size of Buicks because he was feeding them and tending to them. Like, yeah. Ooh. Just to, even if you like spiders, the black widow spider is not something you want 35 times, right? So, but I remember him opening the jar and showing me how happy the spider was in there and taking a pencil and tapping the abdomen of it. And the spider didn't do anything. He didn't care. He was like, get that off of me, you idiot. But if the glass in jar breaks, their domain is gone and it's dark and they're dark and there's 35. You get it. I don't need to go any further, do I? Really a scary thought. Yes, indeed. And when I was doing this show with these bird-eating spiders, Jules, who is a wrangler you may have seen often on these television shows, where he brings in a snake, a gator, or whatever, because he's a tamer. He's an animal guy for the film industry, and he's brilliant. He's been in it a long time. And he had these spiders for Days of Our Lives. And the idea was I had a hand puppet of a little boy. And the little boy was a child. His name was Will. At the time he was 4. This was a while back, so Will is probably in college now. But the fact of the matter is, little Will was 4 years old. They were afraid of doing what they call a face cast on him because it would be dangerous for a little child. Sometimes they get, it's a putting this on your face and then taking a mold of your face. I don't know if you guys have ever had that done. It's kind of soothing, actually, I think. But anyway, and some people say you put straws up your nose, but a really good makeup artist doesn't do that because they don't want to distort the nose with straws. They simply just make sure that the alginate, what they use, goes around your nose so you can still breathe. But the fact of the matter is, on a little boy, you never know how a child's going to react. So they asked me to do a sculpture of this little boy. And I did. I loved it. I really enjoyed it. And then my friend Ken Hall, which I mentioned earlier, he built that puppet. And then I went on set of Days of Our Lives and performed it. Often the actors were so fascinated by my performing of the puppet. I made the puppet look real, right? They wanted to be taught to do it themselves. And so I would sit nearby, kind of support their arms, because you have to still hold it here for a long time while you're doing it. Mommy. But you have to have this strength right here. And if you're an actor, a lot of times you're not acting like this unless you're playing a tree in a school play. So they would get tired and it would sink. So I might be the person to hold their arm up out of frame so that they could do the performing of it. And then they would cut. Well, when it came to Spider Day, all those actors were gone. They didn't want to be anywhere near Jules, me, or the spiders. Now, I know these spiders are going to be coming out of my puppet. So the scene was little Will, Mommy, it hurts. And he opens his mouth and the spiders crawl out of his mouth and all over his head. My hand is working the mouth. Did I tell you my hand is working the mouth? So my hand's in there and there's a tube, a tube about yay big, that you use maybe for filtration in swimming pools, that clear vinyl tubing that's sort of squishy. And it went above my hand and had access to the open mouth. So I opened it and there was a tube and the spiders crawled out and all over the head and stuff, right? It's seriously terrifying when you don't want them on you. But anyway, Jules would take these frog-eating spiders. I think I said bird-eating, they're bigger. Frog-eating spiders. And he would gently put them in the tube and he would take a little straw and go, and they would crawl down the tube. Okay. So have you ever seen Dr. Phibes, The Abominable Dr. Phibes, which is one of my favorite movies, Vincent Price, where he takes the locusts and they're all in a line in the tube and they eat the lady? Anyway, if you haven't seen it, it's an amazing movie. Great Halloween movie. The Abominable Dr. Phibes. 1 is better than 2, but they're both great. Definitely you want to see them. But anyway, they were in a conga line going down this tube. And okay, Terri. So the way I was able to do this scene was I looked right into my television monitor. All puppeteers have them, to make sure that you're on camera. You're not performing out here. You're performing in the frame, right? So, mommy, it hurts. And yes, indeed, the spiders all crawled out. And we did it a couple times and they said cut. And after each time, Jules would come in and he'd delicately take these spiders. They're worth a lot of money, spiders. He'd take them and he'd put them in their little things and then he would take them back to the tube. They'd go back in and we'd reset the shot. Okay. So when they yelled cut and they said it was all done, I did not get up. I faced the camera because for me, I would have lost my entire mind, my entire spirit, would have become a nut job had I actually validated the spiders on me, should they be on me, right? So I told Jules, rather than me moving, I said, how about you get your spiders, because I don't want to kill one that's worth hundreds of dollars, right? And Jules says, that's a great idea. Because I said, I don't know where they are. I can't, And he said, no problem. Now, here's what he did. I held the puppet like this. You could feel him taking them off the puppet, no problem. But then he did this. Now, I'm feeling him do this. I'm not seeing him do this. I am feeling him do this. After he was done and said he was done, I gently put the puppet down. I thanked everybody. I walked, picked up my check, got in my car, and went, oh, because it was the creepiest thing you even can imagine. But it would have been more creepy had I looked at the spider. There he is. Hi. I would have just lost it. Because I tell the spiders in my home, if they land on me, they're dead. So don't land on me. Don't land on me. I don't want to kill, but if you land on me, you're dead. So don't do it. And most of the spiders in my house listen. If they're up in the corner or something, I leave them alone. Not that they're having a web, okay? I don't live in a place where they make these killer beautiful webs. It's very rare that I get to see one of those beautiful webs. But the point is if they're off in the corner doing their own thing, they're fine. I'm not going to, but if they get over my head, threatening to drop on me, or they drop on me, all bets are off, guys. Okay. And that's just because I can't have them crawling on me. I love snakes though. And I have a picture of me with a snake all wrapped around me, a boa constrictor. I love snakes. I think they're an amazing creature. I'm not holding a rattlesnake or anything nuts like that. But the point is they're just such an amazing reptile that I love them. I love lizards. I've got easily in my home about 40 lizards, because one of the things you'll notice about nature, I don't know if you've noticed this, but let me newsflash, nature newsflash, da, 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 da. While we were in lockdown for the pandemic, nature went, yay! Okay. Did you hear the story about there's a lot of sharks in the Pacific waters and people are saying it's because of the warming of the waters? That and the fact that we were locked down, the world was locked down between March and June. And what do animals do between March and June? They have baby animals. Okay. All right. I'm a nature sculptor. This is what I tend to go for, is I love May and June because all the babies are born. So a lot more baby sharks were born, a lot less were being killed. We weren't out fishing. We were at home. That's what we were told to do, was to stay at home. We were not in our gardens. Well, we might have been, but my lizard population has tripled. Hikers who hike and find that they're being chased by mountain lions. Why? Because there's more mountain lions and more baby mountain lions. And all of these animals, what it's saying is that nature is just fine with us staying indoors. Nature loves that we are sequestered right now. We are isolated. We are quarantined. And that's a message I think that people need to kind of get, that we're seeing more. I'm seeing more birds. I'm seeing more lizards in my garden. And they're gently just reminding me that I need to play nice with others. I've got squirrels the size of Buicks. I'm not even kidding. Squirrels that jump on the tree and the tree actually reacts because they're massive. And they're having a great time. So they're just kind of letting us know, be cool, and I think it's interesting. I think it's very interesting. So, witches. I think it's interesting when someone tells me they're a witch. I think that's really interesting. I don't have any reason to doubt them. Why would I doubt them? I don't think anyone has told me they're an alien. unless they're an alien from another country as opposed to an alien from outer space. But I will tell you that there's got to be life on other planets. We would be too narcissistic if we thought there wasn't. And how are they going to be when they come here? Who knows, What is going to be their attitude when they come here? Are they going to try and teach us something, trying to help us out? Or are they going to be like in the Twilight Zone where we end up being on the menu? We just don't know, do we? What's out there? But I really believe there's life on I just can't be that narcissistic. I can't think that it's all about me. It's just a little weird. Love snakes. Classic universal monsters. Also, vampires. Vampires aren't on here. Love vampires. When I was a kid, Dracula was my favorite vampire in the world, and I read everything I could about Dracula, watched everything, drew Dracula, painted Dracula, love Dracula, and love vampires. Nowadays, I think the vampire genre is getting a little weird. Okay, I don't like the weird. I don't know, the vampire who falls in love with a human being and sort of gets all strange, and vampires walking around in daylight. No. But I do like, so let's take the Frank Langella Dracula, who was the sexiest Dracula I think we ever saw. Very sexy. And I'm not talking about the younger Vampire Diaries or the younger Twilight or the whatever, or even True Blood. I thought True Blood went too far. Just wasn't, But my point is that I do like the idea that vampires live among us. I think that's kind of cool. I love Interview with a Vampire, the Anne Rice ones. I have some first editions of Anne Rice's books. I love them because Anne Rice addressed what it would be like to actually be a vampire and live through centuries and centuries and centuries, and know that you have to be able to adjust with the times of the future. So, for example, take me, I'm 63, and they never had computers. And now I have to constantly study and learn and explore these things that are not murder weapons. This looks like a wallet, but it's a phone, it's a computer, it's a communicator, it's a map, it's a. I love many things about it. There are many things I don't like about it, but the fact of the matter is, it is flipping amazing that it even exists. Phone booths were how I was able to call my family if I was away from home. We could not take a phone with us. I'm just plugging it back in. No thing like an iPad. No, calling across country was very expensive, and now it's not. So imagine you're Dracula, or you are a vampire that has died in the 1600s, and now it's the 2000s. There's got to be a time when you have to have this forward-thinking mind. Your clothing is going to change. Your jobs are going to change. Your attitudes are going to change. Everything's going to change, or you're going to get found out. So I think it's fascinating that the Vampire Walks Among Us theory is really cool. I have a friend named Chris McCauley, and he dresses kind of dark style, and everybody kind of teases him because he only comes out at night, and he goes to night parties and stuff like that. And they say, "Are you a vampire?" And he gets a kick out of it. But it's possible, isn't it? And how fun to kind of fantasize about stuff like that. Not that you want to be one. I'm sure there's some that might want to be a vampire, but that's a lonely life, isn't it? And it's hard because let's say you are a vampire and you fall in love with a human, and you don't want to make them a vampire. You don't want to do that to them. So you live your life with them, and maybe you let them know you're a vampire, maybe you don't. But now you have to watch them die. If you have immortality, you've got to watch a person live, and then you got to watch them die over and over and over and over again. So it's kind of interesting. I always thought the vampire was one of those, he gives you a little thought, gives you a little heart when you think of the vampire. You're kind of like, hey, poor little vampire, So anyway, yeah. And then, so yeah, not a fan of clowns, especially the classic American circus clown. just don't, just not my cup of tea. I think because a lot of them jump in your face, and I have this sort of dance space issue, especially now with COVID-19. I think I might love clowns now because they have to stay 6 feet away. But I love the classic clowns, the European one where it's more like a mime. That's more my speed. And they usually wear a hat, or they're like Marcel Marceau, the famous mime from Europe. So that's a little better for me. In that, however, I do like some of the paintings. I mean, Emmett Kelly sure does rock and make you feel the heart of a clown, don't they? So I can't say that I don't like them. I'm just someone who was not really good with them when I was a child because they were too much too close a lot of the times, and I didn't find that sort of in your face kind of thing. It just like drove me crazy. So guys, we have been on for 2 hours and 19 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save the rest of the questions for later. You guys have all been so sweet, so kind, so lovely to sit with me for this time. And like I said, I'm always someone who wants to do this. I think what I will do is, rather than go to the comments and post them, I did that at the beginning. Well, I'll do a little bit. I'll do a tiny bit right now. Let's go see what you got. We only got 100 million. No, I'm kidding. We've got a few here. So if you have a life and you've got to say goodbye, let me say right now, think about if you want the ghosts. They're fabulous. Think about the pumpkin classes. It's a lot of fun. And also do something nice for someone else. It can be something as simple as a phone call. They haven't heard from you in a while. Hear your pleasing voice. Yesterday, I got to talk with my dear friend in Canada, Ivano, and I hadn't talked to Ivano in a long time. And I really, really enjoyed that we got to do a Zoom call together. So I'm grateful. So you never know what's going to make somebody's heart float up in the air with happiness. So do something nice for someone. And if you got a couple of bucks and you're in a Starbucks line, how about buying the coffee for the car behind you? Someone you don't even know. But you know what to do. You're all creative. And I will see you on Monday. Have a lovely weekend. Okay? All right, to the comments. Okay. Let's see what we've got here. Yes, that was the Ken and I. Remember I was telling you about Ken and the heat. And we're talking about Adam's family. How cool. And we got a good morning coming from Kimberly. Hello, Kimberly. And Kimberly had me live via phone on her podcast, which was absolutely sensational. So check out. There's some great podcasts out there, guys. There's the Halloween podcast. Tons of Halloween podcasts I noticed on iHeartRadio, spooky stories and all kinds of cool stuff. So there's a way that you can enjoy yourself if you're feeling a little stir crazy at home inside your house. Hello, Larry Roberts. Larry Roberts, you look so cute. What are you, total Star Trek right there? Larry's a rabid collector like me. I mean, he has got some fun stuff. And likes, was it Batman, Larry? Which is cool. Which is very cool. Hi, Vicky. What a cute picture with your little balloonies, which I love, the Mickey Mouse balloons. Isn't that cute? Nate says Nate, you and Michael are peas in a pod. Both had your roofs done. It's amazing. We had our house coated, like painted, but coated. Yeah. It wasn't inexpensive either, but when you live in California, paint just doesn't cut it because they no longer allow properties inside paint that makes it stick. They're gone. They're outlawed here in California for good reasons. Hello, Steve Barr. You always have the cutest little dancing frog. Hello, my baby. I just think he is adorable. So how are you? Good to see you. People are stupid to be, some are disappointed, some, whatever. You just kind of got to say to yourself, whatever. There's a girl who says that really well. I can't remember where it's from, but we will be in the negatives here and snow everywhere. Nate, are you bragging again? Are you trumping me, man? You know that Trump now means something different? Trump used to mean the card that you would like slam. And now if I say that, it's not a good thing because our president, oh, I'm sorry. Are you punking me? I got to say that now. I can't say the other anymore. Oh, you did, Michael. Yeah. Yeah. I should show you my Nightmare Before Christmas that Tim signed. You can have a Tim Burton moment. Yeah. He is fabulous. And he signed two situations. First time we met Michael, and it was excited to meet him, wasn't it? First time I met, I was doing the LA Book Fair, which was down at UCLA, and I was in the waiting room because I was going to do story time. My other friend was in Russia at the time, so I played the character. And Tim Burton was there, and I knew he was going to be there, so I took my book. And we talked, we sort of talked deep Disney, because I told him I'm a Disney Imagineer, and I said I wanted to ask him about some rumors that I'd heard, and it was really a great conversation. Must have been about 20 minutes. It was excellent. And then the very first D23 convention, I did the Muppet thing where the Mark Twain came out on the stage. Those of you who went to D23, the Muppet thing came on the stage, and there were puppets inside. Well, Tim was part of that show, and he recognized me, and he came up and he kissed me on the cheek and he said hello, and he said, "Where do I know you from?" And I said, "The LA Book Fair." And he's like, "Yeah." And everybody of my Muppet group got really excited. So there was a girl who was a real avid Tim Burton fan, and I introduced her to him, and he kissed her hand, and she said, "I'm never going to watch this." I mean, that kind of thing. It was so cool. So yeah, what a great guy. Thank you for stopping by and saying hi. Kimberly, like I said, does an amazing podcast, and that's probably where she's off and running. She also writes some great books you might actually own. So yeah, she's a little rock star. She's probably a rock star, not a little rock star. Good thing we're not on Zoom, because Deanna says, yeah, Deanna has these cats that just will not let her be on camera by herself. They're always stealing her camera time when we're on Zoom. It's cute. I came over to YouTube so I can do other things while I listen. Yeah, and here's the thing, Tie-Dye Diz, is that a lot of people will curl up because I'm early in the morning with a cup of coffee and still be in their pajamas and in the bed, hugging their significant other and watching it on YouTube, which I think is really, really sweet. So I'm glad you get to do other things while having me on there. And thank you for joining me through YouTube. That's amazing. Yes, Bob Burdine says he doesn't understand how people can steal from people who are trying to stay afloat and feed their families. I don't either. It's incomprehensible to my brain. I'm just going to say that. My brain just not wrap around that. I'm so sorry. Did I see Krista Joy? Krista, did you cut your hair? What a cute picture. Oh my goodness. Can I say how much I miss you and Peter so much? But I was hoping Peter would send a video because he's a great singer. I really was hoping to see him on America's Got Talent. I'm still praying that Peter will go do that, because I think he could kill it. Peter's an amazing singer, and I would love to see him on America's Got Talent. You don't have to win. You just need to get on camera. So I hope he decides to do that and knock him dead, because he's really good. Need to make some mini food stands in downtown Disney so you can only, right now, a food you can only eat inside the park, like Bengal barbecue. I get it. Yeah, that would be, Disney. Deanna is absolutely right. So this is a message to all of you at Disneyland who are lamenting over the fact that you cannot open. Why don't we take a sort of Knott's Berry Farm approach, and Universal, you could do this too, but create some fun food stands of the food that you get only in Disneyland that people could come and have. What a party that would be. And you know what? You'd have people who would just flock. If you don't believe me, ask Knott's Berry Farm. They've been doing it, and it's been a huge success. They've extended it, I think, twice? So yeah, I think you should do that, Disneyland and Universal. We'd love that too. So time to think out of the box. You guys are brilliant. You are magical. Don't let the pandemic take away your mojo. You've got what it takes. think of something you can do that can entertain the people and help you get a little bank as well. I know you'll do it. I know you can do it. And if you need my help, call me. Oh, that's a great idea, Deanna. Where is the place to buy pumpkin sculpting tools that work but aren't that pricey? Now they could be pricey, but you can decide what ones you want. Okay, Tricia? So go look up an art store. Near me is a Carter Sexton's. They have it. That's in North Hollywood. And I don't know where you are, obviously, but an art shop. You could also look at Blix, BLICKS.com. They could have some of the ribbon tools. I don't know what their prices would be. Another place that might have them is it's ceramic sculpting tools. Google ceramic sculpting tools and look around. And then also check eBay, because there might be a sculptor somewhere that's getting rid of their tool set and you can get a killer bargain. So that's my suggestion. They are pricey on my website because of these little monsters right here. These little monsters right here are like $20, $30 for 6. And they're delicate. So if you break them, you're going to be like, Rrr. So that's why that's pricey. That's why they're $40. But I guess they're more than 40. They're $50. I don't know. But that's why they're pricey. The other tools. But you can pick and choose. You can, forgive me, you pick and choose what you want. Okay? And there you can get your tools. You can also check Michael's. Michael's will have them. They're not going to be as good. They're not going to be as strong, but they'll work in a pinch. They'll work in a pinch. So Joshua Schaefer, yes, you do open your pumpkin bottoms. I'll bet you do. And Joshua, we need to talk about you getting your ghost. Joshua is the amazing person who suggested the hitchhiking ghost, and he gets number 1. But so I was telling everybody, Joshua, be sure to stay with me, prepay before October 31st, or let's have a chat. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. There's some people saying good morning. Thank you, Angie. You're adorable. Yeah. And there's more where that came from. Oh my goodness. There's so much crazy stuff going on. I got to tell you that it just keeps going. Yes, it is. The certificate. In fact, some people have said maybe I should start designing certificates for just so you could have them. Maybe we should do that for the Patreon. Is after you have your year, you get this amazing certificate in the mail. That could be kind of cool. Let me write that down. That'd be fun. Membership certificate. If you're not a patron, I invite you to go check it out. Patreon.com/Terri Hardin. Patreon.com/Terri Hardin. Oh, look! Joshua Schaefer found the popples. Oh my goodness. Look, it's www.80toysale. Popples. Oh my goodness. And what I'm going to do is, I have this in there, but I have to, I'm going to grab my camera. And this is what I said to do, is take a picture of the screen. So I'm going to take a picture of the screen right now so I can check that out later. Oh my gosh, that is so funny. That is really, really funny. And of course, because I'm looking down, I look like I'm asleep, but that's okay. All right. That is really funny. Thank you, Joshua. That is so nice of you. Wow. They were a cartoon too. Yes, they were. Very good. Very good. We did a show. We did a show. Yeah, Deanna, well, see, I disagree about The Simpsons. I think they are brilliant. The Simpsons are brilliant. I don't watch them very often, but when I do, they make me laugh. They did a couple with a theme park that just put me over the moon. And they're really funny. South Park, not my cup of tea. But Team America, for some reason, grew on me. And unfortunately, there's a song that I love, but it has swear words in it, and it gets in my head, and I have to be careful where I'm singing it out loud because it can be dangerous. Look at this. Joshua also has the YouTube watch. So I don't know if this is my show, but it could be the series Where I Met the Kyoto Brothers. Aren't you glad that you asked that question? I'm taking pictures. Yeah, I don't necessarily go through all this stuff right away after I'm done either. You diehards are amazing. What else did you do? Doug Jones was Billy and Hocus Pocus. Doug Jones was everything. Everything. He's brilliant. He's just brilliant. And he gave me an autographed picture, which I cherish very, very much, of El Fuano, because I love his characters in Pan's Labyrinth. I just adore them. And I adore him. He's a really lovely, lovely person. And yeah, spiders are fine. She's not snakes. Deanna likes spiders, not snakes. Okay. Not a black widow. I mean, does this seem crazy to you? In Australia, they have a spider that is very, very poisonous, deadly. Okay. And where do you think he likes to hang out? In your shoes. So in Australia, they tell you don't put your shoes outside because you could find this horrible, nasty monster inside. So just so you know. Angie, you're getting me. This Baby Shark thing is hilarious, isn't it? I mean, if you're a parent and your kid like Baby Shark, are you like going mad right now? It's like the It's a Small World of the 2000s, isn't it? Yes, he is, Deanna, our very own vampire, Chris. Everybody loves Batman. There's Chris, the vampire. No, Chris is... But he would make he's a very nice looking man. He could easily be a vampire, but we're not going to say, are we, Deanna? Oh gosh, Nate had the house painted. Trump can still mean something you can slam. Terri Hardin. Yeah, exactly. I know, right? It's kind of like a rainbow. I loved rainbows. I used to paint them on my fingers, but then they became a gay pride symbol of Gay Pride Week. And I have nothing against that, but if I put rainbows on my fingers, people think I'm gay, and so I got to be careful where I place my rainbows because I'm all about my husband, who is a guy, and so I do have a real dear friend who keeps telling me if I ever decide to turn gay, she wants me to, let her know. Hobby Lobby. Okay, Hobby Lobby. And Michael says, Joshua, you can get these carving tools. So there you go. See how everybody helps each other? It's just beautiful. Have a great wing, and thank you, Deanna. YouTube link is, for the cup of noodles. I'm going to connect it to my YouTube. I may have it on there on my YouTube, but I'm not sure. I'll put it in my playlist, though. Thank you for that, Joshua. It's amazing. I'm so excited. But the cup of noodles, they're crazy. They're just crazy. They were so fun to do. 2.5 hours going. Yeah, Cherie. This is for, I'm telling you right now, this is for the pandemic. We will shorten after the pandemic when things start to get sort of more status quo. Like when Disneyland opens, maybe we'll stick to an hour. Okay? But we'll let y'all vote. Thank you so much. Watch this in bits. What I'm doing with these videos is taking them and dividing the stories up into little bits for later. So, I appreciate you watching, but it's kind of like was said about, putting it on YouTube. Okay, now I'm nervous. I have a 12 alarm and I'm not sure what it's for. Don't you hate when that happens? It's 12 o'clock. Let's see what my thing says. I hope it doesn't mean I gotta looking at my thing here. It's so funny. This is the thing that gets to be a little weird for me. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. No. Okay. It was just probably a wake-up call to eat or something. But anyway, so yeah. Yes, it has. And I'm doing it for, honestly, I'm doing it so that people can listen and relax and calm down and laugh and giggle at me because maybe your week was kind of tough and rough, and especially if your week was one of these unemployment situations where these people who have been stealing from you and you didn't get the check that you deserve, and you're trying to feed your family. Hopefully I can bring a little bit of sunshine into your life, because it's too bad that people are like that. So thank you, Cherie, for tuning in. Oh, you think that's a good idea, Angie? Okay. All right. Thank you for that acknowledgement. I will, think about that. Oh, yeah, the Radvinskys. Yeah, we like to go to tea, and we haven't been able to go to tea because of the, pandemic. Hey, thank you, Joshua Schaefer, who's been so sweet. It's not really a bio, it's more of a chronology of my life. And if I had a nickel for every time Joshua said, that's not on there, and that's not on there, and that's not on there. So he may have to do a rewrite sometime, but it's already like, what is it, Joshua, 20 pages? He's a great author. You need to check out his book. And there we go. And it is noon. We've gone from 9:20 to noon. Whoa. To just a little over 2.5 hours and counting. I love you guys. Thank you. Thank you to the people who have taken the time to stay the entire time and listen to my stories. But for those of you who are popping in and out, hokey pokey, left foot in, left foot out, just listen in small bites. And eventually I will make them smaller. But as long as the pandemic is here, as long as COVID-19 makes our lives a little miserable and Disneyland isn't open, I'm going to do it for a while. And I hope that it helps. I hope that it helps you to take your mind off of the yucky stuff in your life for a little bit and fantasize like cotton candy what we're doing here. Okay? Hugs, kisses, do something nice for someone else, even if it's a phone call. Doesn't have to cost money, not mummy. Halloween doesn't have to cost mummy. And I'll see you soon, okay? And I love the Universal monsters, by the way. The Mummy and Dracula being two of my favorite. Okay. See you on Monday. Enjoy, guys. Lots of love. Always lots and lots of hugs and loves.